the first national STOL event, I vowed I would never compete. I'm like, it's not for me. And I still say I'm not competing. I'm in the rookie class, just the most laid back class. There's no regulation on what kind of plane you have or anything else.
So the touring class, it used to be just touring airplanes, and now that we've switched around the classes, because the 170Bs would always win, so they ended up putting us in the Bush class, which it's a touring airplane, and the word has it, Austin Clemens is coming, because the Super 170's in his class.
Two 170s, tough battle, but Husky will win at the end of the day.
My name's Justin Tisdale. I'm flying a Zenith 750, flying in the Spark class. My dad and I would always go to events and things like that, and I would always look up and just see people flying. And for me, it was something that I dreamed of doing. It's something that he dreamed of doing. We grew up like kind of poorish, and he was a cop and couldn't really afford to do that kind of stuff. So after I got out of the military, I started looking at aviation. I was like, man, I think I could do that. Wound up completing that dream of his and mine to become a pilot. And anyone can do it. I know if I can do it, other people can do it.
He pushes me and I push him, and same with Hal. We're challenging each other. Everyone's like, whoa, this is gonna be close.
I have beat him, but not often. I gotta be really on my game, and he's gotta be off his a little bit.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the very first National eSTOL event, and about to get the show started here.
Welcome, everybody. Glad to have everyone here. We've got a great show lined up. This is National STOL's first ever eSTOL event. I'm in here talking like a crazy person, and of course, my microphone wasn't working. But a quick restart, and we're back at it. That's the beauty of doing these virtually, and this is a whole new thing, which I'm really excited about, because Austin, you've been hosting these for a while. You reached out to us earlier this summer and said, I want to do this with National STOL. I want to bring it legit. What are we looking forward to today?
We are looking forward to some of the best STOL flyers in the sim. These guys have been practicing for since the beginning of June, since Anov and I got together, and then we reached out to Tom and got all this stuff together. So I mean, it started in June, and these guys are going to be, you're going to see the top of their game. They're very practiced and polished.
Well, practice and polish is what it takes, whether it's online or in person, doing the real thing in a real airplane. Watching these guys practice was exciting. It's pretty intense. We've got some crazy mashups all the way from our touring class up into the exhibition with some wild airplanes. The Double Ender making an appearance. You know, this is the first time that we've ever done something virtual like this. And I think it really goes to show just the size of the community around STOL. It's not just people who are flying in real life. It's people who are passionate about this and maybe don't have an opportunity to fly in real life, but here they can hone their skills. Can you kind of walk us through your path to creating this series with National STOL, try to bring this in, even professionalize it further? What was the goal, and what has the results been so far?
So really the goal for me was I wanted to fly in STOL competitions. So we were looking around for things to do, and there was a few other things, but you know, there's a few other airstrips and things that you could use for STOL, but there wasn't anything like very serious. So when I found this, Anov had, you know, I mean, he has this all, you know, measured out to the T, and he's even got a ruler that he uses that's the actual sizes of you know, the STOL strip. So that was the goal, just to fly STOL. And then like once I reached out to Tom, the original thing was I wanted to have, you know, National STOL do someone cast with us our first event. I was going to produce it, everything like that. But talking to Tom, that first time I talked to him, it was like we both had a very, very similar vision about what we wanted to do with it. So it started out small, and now here we are.
Well, I'll say this, the endless possibilities are out there, but the whole goal of National STOL is to inspire the next generation of pilots and to help them become the safest pilots they can possibly be by practicing in competition here, where, yes, The numbers matter, but being consistent is what it is all about. And right here at this incredible little field that you guys have created with this incredible graphics packs, it's wild to see the technology and how far Microsoft Flight Simulator has come. So as we're getting ready to get started here, I know that you've got a lot of people in here that are really talented e-pilots. These guys have been flying for a long time. Why don't you walk us through the initial lineup of who our first pilots are in heavy touring?
All right, so in touring, we have, let's see here, I gotta actually pull this up quick.
I can kick us off with that then. We've got the first pilot, A1 Midnight Rain. Midnight is flying a Piper PA-24. He's the only one flying a low wing in the competition that we've seen so far. And he's located in Maine, US. We've got people from all over the world here, of course. Next up, Mark Baracus in a beautiful PZL 104 Wilga, white and red. Tom Smith, I'm sorry, he's coming from Great Britain. Tom Smith from Pennsylvania in the US, also flying a Wilga, that's that black and yellow. Keith Charlotte from Louisiana, and Blitz Pennington flying the Wilga as well, right here in Michigan. 2 different yellow Wilgas. These guys are good. What do we expect performance-wise? Who do you feel is going to have the extra edge over the other guys, Burstix?
In this class, I mean, that's a tough one. They're all really practiced. I think the Wilga is going to show really bright here. So I think whoever's flying the Wilga, it's going to be a duke out between whoever's flying the Wilga. But I mean, you never know. With scratches and everything else, you never know what could happen.
That's one of the cool things about having someone like you in this seat announcing with me is you know these guys, you know what kind of experience they have, you know what kind of consistency they have. You know, flying this without having the additional vibrations and feelings of a regular aircraft can be really challenging. You know, you're really relying a lot more on your instrumentation. You're trying to make sure every step of the way that you're flying that airplane all the way to the ground, getting past the line. I'm really excited to see the performance of these pilots. Obviously, this first Piper taking the line, really mirroring our own Piper Zilla, one of the competitors in the traditional National STOL series, not the eSTOL series. So it's going to be, we know his numbers. We'll see how close they are here. Obviously, there are different sets of, effects of gravity and stuff like that has been interpolated by the engineers at Microsoft. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. But Midnight Rain taking the line. We're waiting for the Airbos's release. A lot of people had questions for us in the chat saying, what is this like? Is this just like a regular National STOL? Well, yeah, it is. We had a pilot briefing with our air bosses. We walked people through it. We are flying these guys in flights of 2 and 3, so we're maintaining that safe separation just like we practice in regular National STOL. This is a very similar experience to actually coming in and being a pilot in person in a big airplane. So this is a really exciting moment for these guys to get to this national stage for the first time ever. It looks like he's locked the brakes up, getting ready there. Should be released in less than a minute. And what kind of performance figures do you anticipate here, Austin?
Well, we've seen the Comanche land in about 90 feet, and that was a pretty, it took a lot of tries to get to that. As far as takeoff, we've seen in the hundreds. So we'll see what Midnight can do. She's been practicing in this, and she flies it quite a bit. So
awesome. Well, I'm excited to see the performance. I didn't realize it was a Comanche. I read A24 and I missed it. I thought it was a Warrior. No worries though. All right, air bosses are saying that she is released to fly. Our first pilot taking to the sky in the National STOL eSTOL series. This is too cool. History being made right now, guys. Virtual history, but history nonetheless. On the roll, transferring that energy, building speed, rotates pretty aggressively. If this was a traditional contest, I'd say that pilot most likely left a little bit on the table. What I mean by that is that they were able to go into a rapid climb, which tells you there's a lot of energy left in the airplane that they could have pulled a bit earlier and a little more aggressively. Tom Smith now taking the line in that beautiful Wilga. Our line judges aren't quite like Lexi Duncan here. We have the beauty of being able to do things in the virtual world. Replays are a little bit simpler. Testing camera angles is the same. Tom now on the line. Aggressive rotation, really dragging that tail. And again, a lot of this is probably just the dynamics of it not being an actual, it looks like a real life thing, but it's not a real life thing. So Austin, having flown regular GA and a lot of flight simulator, what are some of the transitions or changes that you feel happen when you are, taking these real life aircraft and putting them on the internet?
So as far as like IRL GA, I've only actually flown helicopters. I have about 25 hours in Enstrom F-28.
Those
so
are
I haven't
really
flown
good
any
at
GA.
STOL.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. So I mean, some of the differences though that I hear people talking about, it's just basically per plane, how it's modeled. A lot of these planes are modeled really well, but it's tough to get the planes modeled perfectly to real life. And then also, we don't have any wind out here today, do we?
Not very much at all. What I do see is a bit of a crosswind, not much more than that.
Yeah, so I mean that is definitely going to make the takeoffs and landings a little bit longer. But yeah, as far as like the differences, I don't think there's a ton that are very very noticeable. But again, I haven't flown GA, so I'd have to ask ask somebody who's done a lot of both.
So I've flown a lot of both, and I will say my experience with the newest version of Flight Simulator is not that much, right? I got in and I wanted to be like the good old days flying underneath the Eiffel Tower in a BD-5, and I was very frustrated by the mechanics, so I gave up too early. But, it does have a lot of the similar experiences, and I credit a lot of my flying ability in regular aircraft to my days of flying flight sim as a kid, because I didn't have the money for a joystick, so I had to fly with a keyboard. And learning that idea of giving and taking, of pulling the elevator up, a flare to land is not just pulling up, pulling up, pulling up. It's also giving back and feeling what the airplane's doing. And it sounds ridiculous to say you can feel the computer, but you can. You can feel how the airplane's settling. And here we go. Across the line, giving up a little bit of space there.
Came in a little fast, it looked like. I don't know. She got the flaps up quick enough, but yeah, a nice landing either way. But I think she came in a little fast. I think she was trying to get a safe number down, so that way she has a score in case everybody else scratches the rest of the class. She'll have a good first place there.
And that is exactly what you want to do. We could talk a little bit about the rules right now. Getting a clean score in is crucial. If you don't get a clean score or you scratch, which means you land before the line, that score is null and void. You want to absolutely make sure you get across the line, then get stopped. The score is taken from the main gear legs. So we know those main tires, where they finally stop is where the score is taken. And the same is true for the takeoff. We get a basic idea of where they come off the ground. And here, it makes it even easier because we have constant camera movements. We can really track exactly where they come off the ground. And as those mains leave the ground for the final time, that is when we take the score for takeoff. Those scores are then combined, and the lowest score is our winner. So as we get these guys setting up for landing in the Wilga, looks like we might be able to tighten the pattern up a little bit, keep the things moving a little faster. Wilga now on short final. We're seeing a very different approach pattern. He's getting the nose up, working it into that high alpha. Flaps are coming down. Everything nice and stabilized.
There we go.
Across the line, big bounce.
So that's one of the differences you will see every once in a while. I see a little bit bigger of a bounce. In his cockpit, he's probably riding pretty smooth, but every once in a while you will see that in the sim where there is a bit of a bounce, and nothing unfortunately we can do about that. But it's in his cockpit, he was probably riding pretty smooth.
We saw a few in the practice that were flying Zeniths, and watching them land was comical. They were stopping at about 10 feet, and the bounces were ridiculously high.
Oh yeah, the Zenith it can stop very short in the sim.
Very cool. Keith Charlet in the Wilga. He's got the skull and crossbones on the back, the cool guy skull and crossbones, number 97. Sorry, Tom Smith, a little bit late there, but that's all right. On the roll, heavy on the brakes. A little bit different style here, flying it off the ground. We see this a lot from real life Wilgas, where they kind of maintain that 3-point position. The first Wilga we saw took more of a Cessna 170 vibe, where he was diving the aircraft toward the ground, pulling and throwing the flaps in all at once. It's interesting to see how these scores line up.
Yeah, I'd like to see that, like how they line up in real life to the sim. I feel like they'll be a bit different, but I think in general they're modeled really well.
Well, we've got Corey Robin in the chat. Corey was the king of the Wilga for many years. He knows these airplanes well. Corey, since you're in the chat, you want to share what your thoughts would be? Would you be working to be more aggressive with that nose down angle, kind of hyper rotation, or do you fly it off the ground in the 3-point position? Keith now rolling off the ground again. Nice, smooth approach. A little bit of excessive rudder usage there. Neat to see what's happening. Liam Skogberg asking which servers we're on. North EU. Yes, I believe right now we are on the Northern EU servers. Is that right, Austin?
Yes.
Awesome. But we do ask that, everyone's gracious. Nice approach angle here. Base to final turn for Tom Smith and that beautiful Wilga.
Tom Smith is actually flying in a very unique simulator. He's got a full moving cockpit. He designed it himself. Very, very cool.
Very cool. Corey Robin lets us know that in this airplane you want to fly it off unless you have a turbine. And he's a guy who'd know. I'll never forget standing next to Corey as Draco made its first appearance on the way to Oshkosh. I think Corey was next to me. Maybe it was Trent. There's some great guys there, and just a wild experience to see that airplane make its appearance. Stopping there in just over 150 feet, 145 feet. Very impressive. The number markers have numbers on both sides in case we decided we need to run the field a different direction. And Austin, you could tell me this, are these guys running with live weather? Is the weather live for wherever this spot is in the real world, or no?
Yes, the weather is live.
Oh, that's awesome.
So unfortunately, we don't have like a 20-knot headwind. I like, flying STOL. I love a good headwind. I imagine everybody that flies STOL would probably say the same thing.
Oh, 100%.
But today, unfortunately, we don't.
Yeah, the more wind we can get, the better. If we get those hovering takeoffs. Keith dropped down below the final approach path. He'll be DQ'd for that, but he'll climb back around and try once again. Probably just got a little slow. We talk a lot about the fact that
could be a sim error as well.
Okay. Something we talk about a lot in our.
Something.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, in all of our safety briefings in the real life National STOL events, one of the things we talk about every single event is ensuring that pilots realize this is not a slow flight competition. We need to make sure that people keep their speed up to safe ranges, and they're quite good about that. We've had an excellent experience throughout all of our events at National STOL. We've got Lost Soul saying, Noodles cheering you on in the Burstix chat. Love to see it. Some great folks watching live. Shout out to Ring Bolt and Artusis. Cyber Dammy. We've got some great folks in here. Really getting jazzed. Bryant Hull called it out. He said, I saw the stall. Part of the experience, guys. Again, we would never allow that to happen in a live event, a real event. I should stop saying real. An in-person live event versus a virtual event. But
that's a great word. I've been trying to figure out what to say. IRL. I like in person better. I like that. So I'll start using that.
Yeah, I think in person works because this is as real as it gets virtually, right? So in person, I think it can kind of meet the ramifications. Blitz Pennington on the line. This is a dark horse. Beautiful. Current standings. Tom S. in first place with a combined score of 389 feet in his Wilga. Mark with 460 and Midnight at 728 in that Comanche. We knew that was a safe score and we expect that to change pretty significantly. Blitz now off the ground and going.
Now Blitz is one of the top contenders. There's a lot of really great people here, but Blitz has won a lot of contests. We've had some exhibition style practice contests, quite a few of them, and he has done very well consistently. And he is a pilot in real life as well.
Is he? All right. So he's in Michigan, and he is Pilot in real life, flying online for fun, and testing his skills as best he can. Looks like NC Ferrum says, greetings to Stewer. He made a great airport together with Anov, I think. Welcome, NC. Glad to have you.
Absolutely. Anov created this one here, and Stoyer did the KXNX, which we will be flying later on. But they really do great work. Those guys, I appreciate them very much for doing what they've done for National eSTOL.
It really is wild to see these virtual worlds coming together in a way that looks so real. Our broadcast trailer there along the sidelines, it is true form to life. Dragging it in now, Blitz, chopping the power, heavy under braking. Not seeing the tail come up at all, but that's all right. If you see a tail come up on a Wilga, you do get a little concerned. That's a big airplane. All right. Getting the scores recorded, making sure that everything is kosher and copacetic, made it past the line very clearly. We'll be moving toward our next pilots. But first, I want to talk just a little bit about Hartzell Propeller. They're our sponsor for the touring class on the in-person National STOL events. And they're our sponsor here too. We want to give them a great kindness because they provided one of the propellers for the winners of National STOL Series national title. So every person who has won a position at National STOL has earned tickets toward a raffle, and one of them will win the prop, which is pretty cool, pretty wild, honestly, because these propellers, a $18,000 certified prop for a Cessna 185. And we're very excited to see that propeller given away at the Lone Star event next month. Just about 2 weeks away or 3 weeks away now. Really looking forward to our national finals in Sulphur Springs, Texas. Those are provided by our friends at Legend Cub. But Hartzell is built on honor. They make some of the best propellers in the business, and we've been very grateful to them for all they've done for our team here at National STOL. Midnight Rain back to the line in that PA-24 250 horse Comanche. She's some fans chatting with her. Gabriel T. live on the interwebs.
Gabriel says, let's go Midnight.
Airbosses are getting ready to release.
The Comanche in the sim is a very, very nice plane made by one of our simulator sponsors, A2A. And if you guys haven't checked out the Comanche, it's definitely worth checking out. It is very well modeled with a lot of systems failures, things that a lot of planes in the sim don't offer at this point. But they're coming more and more every day.
It's so cool to see these airplanes really take life on the roll now. Very aggressive acceleration. The 250 horses really ripping it out of the sky.
Now, I've flown a lot of bush in the Comanche, and sometimes I drop the flaps at 40, 45 knots, and you can get it into ground effect at about 40, 45 knots.
Well, what's really been fun to watch in real life, we had Timothy Fonseca flying his Comanche and really ripping it off the ground, getting admirable scores in a real life Comanche. You wouldn't think to see that in a STOL competition, but he flew well, and he's an airline pilot. But coming out and representing the Manchi life, as he calls it, is or Manchi gang, is a great thing. Mark Baracus,
I love that Manchi gang.
Manchi gang. Mark's back in that beautiful red and white Wilga, giving me lots of Corey Robin vibes. And I want to say just a huge shout out to the guys over on the Aviator channel on Twitch. I haven't used this thing in years. There's some great guys like Foolish Burrito. He asked, where is the Super STOL? And I will tell you, the Super STOLs, I don't think we have a model for one for this event, but I could be wrong. Austin, you want to walk us through what our future classes might hold airplane-wise?
Well, future classes, I mean, there is a lot of times developers don't really release their information. They hold it a little close to the vest. But I mean, as far as planes that are released right now, there's all kinds of, there's just so many, too many to name actually.
Very, very cool. It's neat to see this continue to grow, and I'm excited to see some of these airplanes. We've got Cessna 152s, 170Bs, Super 170Bs, Aviat Huskies. That's going to be our Bush class. We've got a Zlin, a Kit Fox, two Kit Foxes, two Zeniths coming up in the Unlimited. And of course, we talked about it earlier, the 2023 double ender going up against the Pilatus PC6 in our exhibition class. These guys are going to be all over it, really excited to see how they come together and what the competition looks like in the end. Looks like we have a Comanche on final, gear up. If she's looking for the best possible score, I think gear up may be the solution.
No.
Oh my
Okay,
goodness.
so she did have the gear down every once in a while. Most planes in the sim can have it's basically a visual glitch where it looks like the gear is up. So a lot of times in bush flying, we don't see that because you have gears that are always down, right? You can't put them up in most of the bush planes. But in the Comanche, it will have that glitch every once in a while. So don't worry, guys. She landed with the gear down, as you can see it come in.
Barracus, just like in our in-person events, choosing to go around, keeping that spacing on the Comanche, making sure that the runway is clear before he makes that final approach. See that nice slow motion go around from race number 1, 2, 3. Very creative race number. One 360 around and back to the approach, getting very stabilized. I feel like the FAA would have something to say about the structures being so close to the runway, but it's they can't hurt us here, right?
That's right.
Tail on the ground, left wing dropping.
Away.
Very aggressive and very, very early. That's going to be a scratch. Looks like he got a little behind the power curve there. As the left wing started to drop, he realized that he was fully stalling and committed to the landing, which is the safe call. In that situation, we've seen it in real life as well, where a pilot starts to feel a wing begin to drop out. Perhaps the wind just stops or it picks up. This gives them an opportunity to get the airplane safely on the ground, even though there will be no score for that run. Tom Smith currently in second place with a score of 389. He's lined up on the line awaiting the airboss instructions. But Blitz is holding down first now with a 296-foot combined score. I think to myself, man, these Wilga guys in real life would lose their minds for a 296 score. Just checking through our comments here from everybody who's joining us live. Got a great group of people now. NC Fairham saying in terms of online code. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
We got friends in the chat. A developer of some of these great planes you see out here. The Wilga right there is one of the planes that they have developed, and so they're in the chat in the Twitch channel, man. So it's good to see you guys got friends. We love you.
That's awesome. Glad to have them indeed. I saw that. One of our viewers said that right now he believes that the code behind Microsoft Flight Sim is far behind other racing series. So perhaps that's something that we'll see changes of in the future, to have more flawless racing action right here in Microsoft Flight Sim. I believe this is our front runner, Blitz. Nope, apologies. It said, yeah, it is. It is Blitz, number 25 in the Wilga. First round has a 197-foot takeoff. Looks like he's almost around the same numbers. He had a 99-foot landing. Corey Robin in the chat, man, I'd love to see your reaction to a real-life 99-foot landing in a Wilga with a tail. Right now it looks like it's a quartering tailwind. Some things can't be quite perfect, right? Tom Smith on approach. Previous score of 389 with a 154-foot landing. Just past the line, really managing all the energy into a big bounce and got stopped. Looks like it's a bit longer than his previous landing.
That's kind of funny because on his landings, you got to imagine Tom in his at-home simulator that he's built. He's jolting forward at 15 degrees while he's in VR. Very cool to know that that's what he's doing. So when you guys see Tom land, just think of that, okay?
If you see him walking with a limp after this competition, you'll know he gave it his all. That's all right. What a cool experience to have a VR goggles on, to be in a big full motion simulator. Absolutely crazy what technology can do today. I'm looking right now at the online stream. It's showing the flighthelmet.com, $50 off your purchase with the eSTOL 50 code. I feel like our friend Tom needs one of these for his simulator. He needs to slap on a flight helmet so he can feel completely in the air, and he'll be safe in that full motion simulator.
I'll get him the link for the helmets.
There you go. If he gets one, I want a picture of him in it. That's a requirement.
I'll make sure I get one. I think I saw Crowbar asking who is in the. Crowbar was asking who is in the comic livery. That is that should have been actually Sawdust Dragon. Sawdust. I thought that's who it was. Actually, that's my mistake, guys. Manilinus, I guess.
I saw Manilinus in the chat saying he was testing out and got a 31-foot with perfect touchdown on the red line. And he says, I feel like that's not possible in a Wilga. I feel like that's not possible in real life, but I feel like it's very possible right here at National eSTOL.
Okay, so to clarify that.
Go right ahead, my friend.
The comic livery, that is, who just landed? I didn't see the name on there.
I believe it was Tom Smith.
So I think it was Keith C. Actually, Keith C. is in the comic livery. I was just trying to clear that up. Sorry, guys.
And there's only 20 feet between Keith and Tom. So 20 feet is all that separates them right now in the same type of aircraft, flying in the same conditions. Blitz now, our front runner, bringing it in aggressively. Got the tail down first, digging it in, heavy on the brakes.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Blitz's practices, and him getting that tail. He's riding tail wheelies in the Wilga quite often. So it's good to see him doing that here today when it counts. And he's had a lot of practice doing it.
That's one of the coolest things to see at our competitions in real life, watching these pilots who just dialed in their skills so completely. They get the tail on the ground and they'll taxi it down sometimes 500 feet or more, keeping the mains just barely hovering off the ground. You see guys just absolutely killing it. Ryan Dombrowski, we wish you were here and competing as well. We have to have you compete in the next one. Ryan's our regular announcer for National STOL. Ryan's a legend. And he is quite the stick behind a J3 Cub, so we'd see him performing, hopefully, in the very near future with us. Seeing these camera angles that reflect our real-life angles so well is just cracking me up, man. It looks like a National STOL event. The only thing you're missing is a couple thousand people standing on the sidelines watching live and in person. So we've got that here through the crowd online. But watching this in person, if you guys get the opportunity, we'll be announcing our live events very close to the end of the year. Make sure that you guys, if you're within a state away or even 2 states away, it's worth the drive. Come down, you can volunteer if you want to, or just sit back and enjoy the show. We've had some incredible volunteers and viewers come from actually further than 2 or 3 states away, from halfway across the country. And it's been really neat to watch them get to know the family of STOL Aviation, these backcountry aviators who are through and through competitors and just wonderful people. Midnight Rain on the line now, awaiting that release. She's flying that beautiful Comanche 250. We see those first round score of 728, second round score of 671, and third round now to be determined, just slowly whittling her way down the line. Apparently that is quite the is that the A2A Comanche, Austin?
Yes, A2A Simulations Comanche.
Awesome. Well, big thanks to A2A for their sponsorship of this event, helping put together this incredible, I mean, the graphics, everything here, this fact that this feels so much like a live event is really, really special.
Yeah, from that view right there, it really does look like a live event. Watching the planes leave the runway, I think it looks real great.
Absolutely. Redbird Stoll in the chat, one of our pilots. He says that he needs to get Microsoft Flight Sim. You do, my friend. You've got plenty of Zenith models that you can use. This could improve your real life performance even more. You know, it's not not silly to say it, because the more you do this, whether it's in person or on the computer, those 10,000 hours that I know you already have logged in a flight simulator have affected your abilities as a pilot, and we would love to see you competing with us. Getting that camera angle just right. Mark Baracus, he did not qualify the second round. We saw that left wing drop and had to land early, had a big scratch. But the first round, very impressive 460-foot score. Again, if this was one of our events and we were flying a Wilga and we saw a 460 score, the world would be on fire, much less a combined score of 296 like we see from Blitz. Mark now, heavy under braking, really aggressive. You know, it's interesting to hear, Corey say that you really want to fly this airplane off in real life as a 3-point, where you just fly it down the runway and let it lift off the runway with those beautiful leading edge slats. The aggression that we're seeing from the pilots here is much more like, it resembles to me exactly what you'd expect to see from a Cessna 170B, right? We see a Micah or a Jeff pull, just really digging it in hard, getting the prop inches from the ground, and then rotating all that energy back, bouncing the tail wheel off the ground to lift the engine, the heaviest part of the airplane, off the ground, and then somehow miraculously maintain flight. So it's a different style here for the Wilga pilots, but maybe this is what works best. I know these guys have practiced a ton. And speaking of practice, Midnight Rain coming to show what she can do. She did have her longest takeoff to date with a 317-foot score. Her previous best was 20 feet shorter at 297. But she has a lot of area to make up in her landings. We see those landings changing quite a bit, with 60 feet or so change in the previous. Low, and with the landing gear down this time, Midnight Rain. Just over the line, heavy under braking. I could hear that airplane's brakes locked up in my head.
What's really cool about the Comanche too is it has a very unique sound. It was actually recorded by A2A. So A2A owns a Comanche, and they recorded the sounds. They recorded the sounds in the Comanche from the actual plane. So it's very, very cool, very unique sound in the plane.
It is a cool sound. I actually grew up with a twin Comanche, and so that was an airplane that I love quite a bit. Wilga on approach now, and as soon as this one lands, we're going to give you a quick preview of what to expect later on in this competition. We're going to have a very short air show break, which is something we don't get to do at every event. Ooh, again, dropping the right wing. Interesting to see him drop the right this time with that right quartering crosswind. It'll be another scratch for that pilot. I believe that was Keith.
I always say though, if they're not scratching, they're not trying. They're not trying as hard as they could be. You know what I mean? A little scratch every now and then doesn't hurt.
We see it at our events as well. We've got guys like Rick Boardman who really know their airplane. They've got the belly pod, they've got the slats on that Carbon Cub SS, and when you're riding the line as hard as someone like Rick rides the line, every once in a while, for safety's sake, you're going to take the scratch. You're not going to push the airplane too hard. Tom Smith on the roll. Previous score of 349, just holding on to second place by 20 feet. And Keith Charlet. I love hearing these round engines rumble in the background noise. Just a hint. Looks like we've got some more great folks listening in live. Got Gravel and Bravo Trooper. He is going to be in the PC6 later in our exhibition class. I'm excited to watch that airplane fly. It's one of my favorites of all time. And in real life, Bravo Trooper was one of our volunteers at Music City eSTOL just last month in Nashville, Tennessee. Had a great event. It was neat to see so many fans come out and have the airport really just full of excitement. We had our first event with a giant screen so people could watch the stream live to see if it was a scratch or not, watching the replays. Great food vendors that all sold out every day. Really a lot of fun. Our front runner now taking the line, 296 and then 306 for his second round. The sub 100-foot landing first round. Hyper aggressive once again, getting that tail high and then smacking it on the ground to pull that massive 9-cylinder radial off the ground.
If I'm not mistaken, Got Gravel is responsible for doing the sound with Got Friends. So that low rumble you hear in the background, it comes from Got Friends, and I think Got Gravel does their sound engineering, or had, when the Wilga was being made for the sim. Sounds real good, doesn't it?
It really does. It sounds natural. And a Wilga, when you're up close to one, you realize just the epic scale of the airplane. They're just a big, big airplane. And the only thing better is Draco. You get behind next to Draco and you realize that not only is it just a massive airframe with so much power, but there's just all these little touches like the 737 landing light facing backwards. Boom! Lots of energy transfer into the ground. Tom Smith getting it stopped short just in front of the National STOL tent. I just noticed that you can see the people moving in the tent. This is just crazy. And that actually makes me want to tease something, Austin. We talked earlier about a previously unreleased thing that's going to be given away to one of our viewers today. You want to walk us through what that is and what it's all about?
Oh yeah, so I'll take us over there and maybe we'll check it out. So if you guys are out there in the sim world, then you probably have heard about the Parallel 42's new vehicle that they're releasing for the sim. I'm sure everybody's excited about that. I'll show that here in a second.
I got a sneak preview and I am excited about it. What a cool looking machine to exist in this wild world.
Yes, it looks amazing. And so I think you guys have about 6 days, 5 to 6 days left. So whoever wins it, you're not going to be able to drive it today. I know you guys will want to, and you'll be asking to, but no, you'll have to wait until about 5 days. But this thing is amazing, and super exciting for everybody to get to drive this. I can't wait to see what happens when we're all riding in the trails in Microsoft Flight Sim.
Ooh, heavy under braking there. This is a very short landing. This may be the best score of the day. If the takeoff was as good as that landing, you saw the right wing dropping out just as he crossed the line, losing the lift, starting that stall process. But he is super, super short, sub 100, looks like about 90, 92 feet. Absolutely incredible performance there from Blitz. It's going to be really interesting to see how all of this comes up. Right now, we see the current best standings with the previous run of 296 for Blitz, 335 for Tom Smith, really improving there. Keith Charlet at 349, Mark Barakis at 460, and Midnight Rain at 671. We just got an update of the best landing. Get this, guys, 84 feet for Blitz there. Absolutely incredible, giving him a combined score of 263 in the Wilga. That is your touring class. What an incredible, incredible run. And Austin, I can't recognize the logo there that says this class is presented by. Can you walk us through this sponsor and what they've done for the community?
Absolutely. So this class is represented by Got Friends. Everybody knows about Got Friends. If you don't, you got to know about them. Got Friends is doing all the prizing for the event here. So the winners from this, the touring class, top three first place gets a $50 gift card to the Got Friends website with very, very many great aircraft over there and freeware as well. For those of you that are, might have to penny pinch for a little bit before you take that big step to buy your first airplane in the sim. But second place will get a $25 gift card, and third place will get a $15 gift card. And they're taking care of all the prizing. But you guys know
Awesome.
Got Friends. If you don't, got to get to know them.
And if you don't, make sure you get a quick picture of this QR code where you can get more information. And with that said, guys, this has been an incredible first round. Seeing touring class just absolutely hitting hard. An 84-foot landing in Wilga. It's unbelievable and really, really cool. We do want to take a quick moment to thank our sponsors of National STOL, and we'll be right back with you into the bush class.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah, I got that right turn. We're good.
Let's meet up at the compound group up.
At 10-4.
Yeah, for sure, dog.
Good, little driver, straight on through.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Super excited to see people here. We got Micah Lindstrom says hello from South Dakota.
I think we had a
wish I
shout
could've
out
made
from
this.
Micah Lindstrom. He says, hi from South Dakota. I wish I could have made this. So if you guys don't know, Micah Lindstrom is one of the pilots that does the IRL STOL events, and a younger guy as well. If I'm not mistaken, he flies a Cessna, correct?
He is in a Cessna 170B, a Super 170, and he is one of the biggest contenders in the series. There has been a knockdown, drag-out fight between he and Jeff Pohl all season long. It's going right down to the wire. Going to be wild to see what happens at the Nationals at Lone Star STOL. All right, guys, let's go through the lineup presented by Ladd Gardner Aviation Insurance. Aviation protected. They insure all of our events. This one, however, did not require insurance, which is great. Felix Jolson in the 1981 Cessna 152, coming to us from Norway. Outside Bad from Croatia in that 170B. Frankie Poops, 1954 170B from New York, USA. Isaac Lane in the Aviat Husky A1C from Illinois, and Byron Bowman, also in a 170 from Kentucky. That gives us a three-way 170 battle up against the 152 and the Husky. Our rules changed this year, allowing airplanes like the Husky to enter the backcountry class because we found that through all the historical data we had, through thousands of takeoffs and landings, we figured out that even though they seem like such different aircraft, they actually are incredibly competitive. So here we have the Yellow Fella number 28 Cessna 152. That this airplane is something that Tom, my partner here at National STOL, and I have talked about a lot. Someone building out a sportsman-equipped 150 could become one of the most competitive airplanes in the series. Throw that thing on some big tires, give it some good brakes, and that becomes an extremely competitive airplane. Looking forward to seeing how Felix is able to perform from Norway. Just looking here at some of the chat information, QB, who is also known as Felix, is one of the biggest fans of National STOL. He's been at every broadcast, just really bringing the love for aviation, bringing the love for the community. Love watching him test out his rudder pedals there, making sure everything's unlocked, feeling good. No gust locks to worry about, but still always good to know your airplane is ready to rock and roll, and he's on the roll. Dragging the tail just like we see a real-life 150. Started to move to the right side of that field. Looked like he pulled a bit early, gave up a lot of the energy, and we started to see him sink once again. Really dragging it out, get that nose down, building some speed. Taking the line now, Outside Bad might be the best name on the series so far. Outside's Bad, all right. Love to see it. Number 4, he is in that beautiful brown and orange, very retro feeling 170. Austin, what can you tell us about Outside Bad?
Yeah, Outside Bad has been at a ton of our events, and I've watched him. Come from, a couple second places in a day, because we at our practices we run a few different events, or a few different heats. But I've watched him, hit a couple third places, a couple second places, and then also hit some wins. And it's been a great time watching him progress through the ranks of our eSTOL practices.
Well, as those eSTOL practices continue, this is an airplane I know intently well. I learned to fly in a 170. It was one of the airplanes I first flew. And watching how these guys are flying, watching how their aggression is coming out, watching how they're kind of channeling their inner Micah Lindstrom, it's going to make a big difference there. As we saw Outside Bad pulling a bit late, giving up a lot of energy, we just saw a great note from, I believe it was Mr. Charmaine, saying, holy cow, that was awesome. I'm so glad you got to fly your first event. He was flying one of the Wilgas in our previous series. And Charlet. Here's a preview, guys, of what's coming at our next break. We're going to be bringing you a very special online air show from Hammerhead Aerobatics. These guys fly an intense, very intense formation aerobatic routine right here in the simulator. Super excited to watch what happens there. But now, let's cut over to QB on short approach, short final. QB coming all the way from Norway. Holding it off. Ooh, it's too close for me to call from that angle. Very aggressive on the brakes, getting it stopped there in what looks like sub 300. Just under 300 feet, 280 feet or so. And we'll check that line footage. I'm sure that our air bosses and judges are in there checking things out. Here's Hammerhead Aerobatics once again in a 3-ship now. This will be a very heart-pounding 5-minute spectacle of aerobatics for us all to enjoy between our next heats. For a moment there, I thought that it was frozen because he's moving so slowly, but now I see the flaps are down, the landing lights are on, Outside Bad is on approach. Bringing her in nice and smooth, keeping it controlled. Watch for those wings, see if they start to drop. You'll notice a lot of movement on that rudder as he tries to control the direction of the aircraft. Ooh, my goodness, he looked just like Micah Lindstrom there, ladies and gentlemen. Dropping it in so hard, the gear went through the floor. Absolutely wild, just over 100 feet. I don't know. I seem to recall at Skullstol in Minnesota this summer, a moment where it looked a lot like that for Micah. The aggression coming in very, very strong. Micah saying that the 170s rule, and he asked if I should get in here and show some skill as well. You know what, Micah? Maybe I'll have to build myself a fully moving simulator so I can play with the cool kids. But now we've got my second favorite name of the day, Frankie Poops. Before he starts the roll, we're going to watch a quick preview of that landing from Felix. Just checking to make sure that the line is clear. It looks like we're going to be able to roll it back here in just a moment. Oh, it's not able to be brought back to the booth yet, but the booth has looked at it. They can let us know whether or not it was a scratch. But now let's watch Frankie rolling in. It's very interesting to see the different styles, flying it off the ground, but dropping the left wing really aggressively. Not nearly as aggressive as our previous 170. And we do have word from the booth that Felix's landing was not a scratch, just over the line for that Cessna 152. And now we have Isaac Lane in this beautiful Aviat Husky, one of the best all-around airplanes IRL. This one flying without a pilot in it. Very impressive skills here from Isaac. And a very aggressive takeoff too. Well done.
And Isaac is actually, he's a pilot in real life as well.
Nice to hear, man. I think it's going to be a very common thing. When we mention this to our pilot page, the number of pilots who are like, I'm going to go out and buy a PC, I'm going to make this happen. Brandon Korn, one of our fiercest competitors in this year's STOL series, this is a guy in Cessna 205 that's absolutely insane. He says he wants to fly the eSTOL series as well. Byron Bowman now on the roll, pulls a bit early. You can see him sticking that left main gear, just staying down a lot longer than I know he wants.
I was actually talking with Justin Tisdale, and he come to the stream the other night and hung out and talked to everybody. And he said, him and a couple of the guys that he's talked to about it, seems like the pilots in the IRL events are, excited about this. And I think what's cool is they'll be able to check out all the strips. We're going to be creating all 8 strips that were from the 2023 season. And you guys can actually pick up KXNX Music City STOL right now on flightsim.to for free. So if you want to start some practice there, that is all there for you guys on flightsim.to for free.
Well, for free is my favorite 4-letter word, so that's super exciting. Flightsim.to, pick up KXNX or Music City STOL location. We're checking right now. We had Frankie coming in. It may have been a scratch, but Isaac Lane taking an extremely aggressive approach. We saw him diving to the ground, pull it back up, get into a little bit more of a stabilized approach now in that Husky. It's interesting to see how these pilots are reflecting their own style. Every single one of them has a style. They have a system they've used. They've seen this sight picture over and over again. Flaps are in. He's very good. Gave about 100 feet nearly, probably 80 feet given up before touchdown. Getting it to a stop, and that score will be good. It's not going to be the score he wants forever, about 340 feet measuring from the main gear. Once again, for those of you just joining us, this competition is scored by any landing that crosses the start-finish line. Otherwise, it's called a scratch, and there's no score. And the scores come from the main landing gear, whether that's the back main gear on a tricycle gear airplane or the front gear on a conventional aircraft. Brian Bowman now in the 170. No flaps in quite yet, but we do have some words from Hammerhead, the lead pilot for Hammerhead Aerobatics. He said he's got his boys up there for a show today. I hope you guys enjoy it. I know we will, Hammerhead. Thank you so much for taking the time and sharing your passion for flight with our audience. Super excited to see what you guys can do. Byron gets it down again, the disappearing landing gear. If we saw this in real life, we'd all have a heart attack, so I'm grateful that didn't happen. But we see right here, it looks like it's a very nice landing, right about 240 feet. In these conditions, even in real life, these are the kind of landings that we'd expect from our backcountry class. Felix bringing it back, setting up for his second round. Got a great group here, guys. As we're continuing on, we've talked some about Ladd Gardner. We've got Sim Market. We've got Flying Eye Sunglasses, Aero LEDs, and USA Trailers Direct, all wonderful sponsors of our events, both in person and online here. Super grateful for all they bring us. Flighthelmet.com, where you can get $50 off your very necessary helmet for eSIM operations using the code INSTOL50. Grateful for all these guys' support of general aviation. Felix on the roll a bit slower this time, slowly building that speed. Crossing the 100-foot mark, starting the rotation, and off the ground around the 400. Again, not a score he's going to be thrilled with. I don't know if that aircraft is equipped with 150 horse or the 100 horse. Cessna 150 with 100 horsepower is, I don't want to call it a dog, but it does bark. Outside bad, back in line. We saw aggression from him earlier. Austin, what do you expect this time?
Oh, from outside bad? Oh, he's... We're going to see some real great takeoffs and landings from outside bad.
Exciting stuff, guys. From the chat, it says he may have 110 horsepower. Interesting. Really getting it up and balanced. Tail drop, which tells me he didn't hold the brakes as long as he could have, but the flaps were in, and I think he left some on the table there. You can, once again, if you see the airplane not really clawing for those first few feet, you know that they've had a little more energy than they needed to get off the ground. It's a thing that we struggle with all the time, whether you're flying in person or you're flying virtually, trying to figure out that balance point for the energy. I'm really excited for some of our pilots like Micah Lindstrom to join this eSTOL series to see how much of what they do is just by feel and how much they can do with an aircraft performing similarly to the airplanes they own in their own hangars. Right now, guys, I'm sitting here sipping on some committee coffee. They're another one of our fabulous sponsors. You can find more information about them at committeecoffee.com and get 10% off using code STOL. Felix now very clean approach. He set up, the flaps are all the way down, gave up about 80 feet before touchdown. Again, that's the last thing you want to do on landing. You really want to get those tires in the grass and start scrubbing off speed as quickly as possible. Our camera operators here just loving the fact that they can track the airplanes even easier than we can in real life. Absolutely excellent control to whoever's running the cameras, guys. Well done. Many, many thanks. Vinny, you're a rock star.
And DeWart, great job on the cameras as well. You guys, Vinny and DeWart are doing a real great job. And they're not too easy to do in the sim either. Their cameras are a little tough to do in the sim, so these guys are doing a real great job.
So we saw a lot of aggression from outside on the takeoff. Here you see him drop it in, gets those flaps out immediately, but it does give up a lot in the bounce. You know, it's a tough balance, and we see this from the 170s in real life as well. When you have a big bounce, the gear only gives so much. We haven't seen a Matthew Peterson, host of Swamp Stole, CEO, founder, host. He has a lot of titles, but the Colonel Uncle Matthew Peterson says the digital bounce is real. I agree, sir. That big old digital bounce. You know, we're talking about these 170s, and we saw Warren Grobelar in the Cessna 180 get a field approval for a new shock system from Acme Aero. Acme, one of the fabulous companies, they build these incredible shocks that mount as an auxiliary to help reduce that bounce. And I fully expect that by next season, we'll start to see some of our pilots of the 170s working for the same field approval. This could be an absolute game changer for a fight like we've seen between Jeff Pohl and Micah Lindstrom. And now the Stoll Trooper coming back with some incredible performance, winning at Music City, just absolutely shocking all of us. Great control. Frankie Poops with a score of 687. That was a 500-foot landing, real long one. Hyper aggressive tail well above the wing. Not translating into as much acceleration as I think he would have wanted. That shot looks just like real life. It blows my mind every time. Gave up a lot there. His previous takeoff of 187 feet. This takeoff well over 300 feet. Wind is 2 knots. That beautiful Aviat Husky on the roll. Nice takeoff. Sub 300. So Austin, talk to me about this, my friend. You know the simulator world better than I do. Obviously, you know, people may not realize that we could perhaps go and play with the weather, but we've chosen to mirror the weather just like real life. How is that done through Microsoft Flight Simulator?
Well, the Microsoft Flight Simulator does really well on the weather. So, I mean, you know, you're going to have real life conditions in live time, maybe a little bit of a lag, but live time. So anywhere you're at in the world, you have the live weather. The very cool thing is, though, is that all the eSTOL guys, they really root for having these, you know, a good wind condition, a good headwind. And it's very nice when you can get it. Unfortunately, today we don't have a lot of it, but in the future, I hope these events will still get the same feeling of like the IRL pilots will, hope for different, the hope for heavy headwinds. Sometimes you don't get it, and you get to see different landings entirely, and different takeoffs entirely, and that mirrors very well in the sim.
That's such a cool experience, man, being able to have that real life feel where things are completely natural, just like you'd find in the real world. And I think that's something that the next generation of gamers will get to experience even more, which is really exciting. So as we see these guys start their approach, man, what's next? I mean, obviously we're building out all the runways from last year. What can we expect from the eSTOL series coming up over the next year?
So I think during the off season of National STOL, after your guys' event in Sulphur Springs, we're going to rerun through that, and so everybody's going to be able to get to practice and do their the National STOL event that happened the year before, and so it's going to be really cool mirror that very closely.
Super cool to hear. Frankie Poop's getting another landing in there, around 320 feet. And Redbird said, I definitely have to do the Unlimited class in the Zenith. I like tinkering with my CFG files at Microsoft Flight Sim. Yeah, if you're tinkering, you got to go Unlimited, my friend. If you're adding nitrous, we want to see it. But Unlimited, it's going to be the class for you for sure. Isaac Lane now on approach. His previous score is 535, and his takeoff was 17 feet longer this time. We'll see if he's able to get that landing down. His previous landing of 351 feet. Outside bag currently leading with a combined score of 350. Very impressive here from Isaac, though. Really got it down just after the line. Looks to be sub 200. Johnson's Farm eSTOL. Glad to have you guys at my house. Stole Johnson, great to have you here in the chat, my friend. We look forward to having you flying in this series and continuing to fly in our real live event series. Sweeping the winds. Byron Bowman now in that 170. Previous score of 586, but his takeoff was nearly 80 feet shorter. Excuse me, nearly 90 feet shorter in the second round. He's currently locked in at that third place mark. Just over 80 feet separating him and Isaac. Isaac really flying the heck out of that Husky. Neat to see the people in the chat chiming in from all over the world. If you guys are in the chat right now, you're enjoying this stream, please do us a favor, smash the like button if you're on YouTube or Facebook. And if you have the time and the willingness, go up there, click the top of the page where it has the link, share this on your socials. If you guys share it, get more people involved. And the livery on Byron's airplane is just absolutely beautiful. Gets it stopped, it looks like sub 300. Previous landing of 240. So this one's going to be a bit longer, but it's going to improve his score quite a bit. Looks like an improvement of 26 feet, so he's at 560 feet now, followed by Frankie Poops at 685 and Felix at 718. You can see Felix there waiting by the runway. I love that we have a line guy out there helping them know when it's time to taxi up. Lexi Duncan, our habitual line judge, has become an icon of these events. She flies in from Virginia for every single one of them, all over the country, volunteering her time like the rest of us. All of us here for a passion for flight, no matter if it's in person or it's virtual, just like this right here. Felix really working his way up the line, making sure he doesn't give up an extra inch if he can help it. I love how creative these liveries are, man. This is just super, super cool to see. Felix first 2 rounds, 762 and 718. Consistent improvement. We'll see if we can get even more improvement, start to edge out Frankie. Frankie's not that far behind, or not that far ahead, so there's definitely a chance here for Felix, who's looking to be underpowered by comparison, but off the ground much sooner than he had been so far. Previous takeoffs of 402 and 487, that would look like it was sub 400.
I think it's going to be really cool to see as these pilots progress throughout the season. We had Kat, one of our competitors, talking about, adding little things from the states that she visits to her livery. And it's so really unique, his first person to talk about that. And as they go through the season and fly the different events, adding things to their livery, to their planes in the simulator, and then keeping that livery throughout the season really adds to the continuity of the event in the sim.
Yeah, I was just reading the chat. Looks like Midnight Rain said the same thing. She said, I definitely need a livery for my next one. But guys, we've got some incredible flying happening right now. Outside bad, heavy on the brakes, gets the rotation and keeps the tail off the ground this time, gets those flaps in. And even though he has a bit of tailwind, looks like he's able to get a really nice takeoff there. We'll see his previous score shortly. Wind showing 0 knots, altimeter 9 or 4. Temperature's 28 Celsius. It's a hot day. We'll have to see what the current altitude is, what our altimeter looks like, our density altitude. That density altitude making such a difference in places like Pinedale, Wyoming, where we had density altitudes of nearly 10,000 feet. Absolutely incredible performances from our pilots who flew from all over the country to make it there to Pinedale. And we're looking forward to a return to Pinedale this year for our 3rd year. Looks like a little S-turn on final for Felix. Getting the flaps in. You see his nose coming up as he drops the flaps in, and it does look like he's going around. Density altitude from the booths, they're saying it's 2,100 feet. So fairly low for the temp. Outside bad.
Very cool.
Now.
Very cool.
Go
We
ahead,
just hit
Austin.
101 viewers on the Twitch channel, and that is a record for the channel. Looks like the flight sim community is really enjoying this event, and it's I'm smiling ear to ear. I'm happy to see it.
And I'm seeing 110 on your channel right now. Absolutely
Oh,
awesome,
wow.
man. Great to see that. And obviously we're streaming all over the place, so we're making sure we get as many people as possible. Looks like Redbird Stoll says he's looking to build a Zenith with 160 horsepower Apex. I'm just going to say you need to up it to 400, man. Let's see what you can do. Outside bad now, short approach, dropping the power and dropping it in through the floor again. But it should be a very nice landing for him. It's interesting having the foot markers have numbers on both sides that aren't mirrored. We're used to having them have the numbers the same on each side. So it's definitely throwing me off. Like, that's not a 480-foot landing. It's not possible. Felix on approach. Trying to get a little more stabilized this time. Again, trying to improve that 718-foot score. Midnight Rain saying, thank you, Burstix, you're a legend. It's neat to see your pilots appreciating you, my friend. It's a lot of work to do something like this, and we're really deeply grateful from all of us here at National STOL and all the pilot community.
So Mac92 is asking what class is competing at the moment, and it looks like is it the Backcountry class that's competing at the moment?
This is the Backcountry class, yes, sir. This is our Cessna 170s, our Huskies, obviously our Cessna 152s. These are the kind of folks you can expect to see competing here with us. And here comes another 170B. Frankie Poops, beautiful yellow airplane. Looks like it's missing some N numbers. Maybe he's trying to pull one over on the FAA.
There actually is a Twitch FAA that comes around in the sim. I wouldn't be surprised to see him out in the chat somewhere today.
We hope the one time we hope to see the FAA, right?
Yeah, he's a real great guy. He's a funny guy. He comes in razzes a little bit, but Twitch FAA, you got to watch out for him.
That's fantastic. You know, that's one of the things I love about the online communities like this, that there's something for everybody. There's always something for every kind of personality. All right, Outside Bad has improved their score exceptionally to 315. Looks like Frankie Poops, a little more aggressive this time, kept the tail almost all the way off the ground the whole time and just flying her off. He brought the flaps in early, which gives him a little bit less energy. Start to think about how these airplanes are performing. And honestly, if you are a brand new sim pilot or regular pilot and you're looking to get involved in the STOL community, I cannot recommend watching the earlier streams a lot. Really get involved. Here comes Isaac Lane pulling it off the ground, just ripping it off. If you start watching these streams early and start understanding what's happening, listen to the announcers walk you through everything that's happening within, the movement of the flaps. Like the fact that right now we've got Byron Bowman with the flaps half down already. He's giving up a lot of authority over his elevator, right? He's giving up extra drag in the acceleration process. That's why you'll notice a lot of our pilots, particularly those who have the ability to smack flaps down. Oh, I think Byron heard me. Flaps went, oh, no, they're back again. But you'll notice the more experienced the pilot, the more they're doing at once. They're keeping their flaps up until that moment of rotation, slamming the flaps down to disrupt the airflow over the tail, and immediately bouncing off the ground. Just really different perspectives for each of them. It's a little chase
I got to give
right
a little.
there.
I got to give a little shout out to Frankie Poops out here who's competing today. I used to fly a little bit of rotorcraft. I have about 25 hours, and when I came into the sim, I didn't know much about fixed wing. This was 8 months ago. I fell in love with it, and Frankie took time out of his day to teach me how to do throttle control and a bunch of other things about bush flying. So thanks to Frankie Poops and the Candonian community, because that's how I met Frankie Poops, is through the Candonian community. So thanks to those guys. Much love for them.
That's awesome, man. That's the same kind of community we have in IRL STOL. It's a community of people who really are a family. They work hard for each other. They try to help at every possible stage, just making sure that everyone's as safe as can be and is performing at the top of their abilities. These pilots are debriefing together after every flight and then sharing, the camaraderie around the campfire at night, which is just absolutely incredible. Frankie now, the man of the hour, the instructor extraordinaire, dropping the flaps out really early, which really caused him to suffer there and create that scratch. Getting the rudder back under control, though, keeping it off the mile markers or the foot markers, which is good. Isaac Lane. We've seen some interesting approaches from Isaac. This one looks a lot more stabilized. And again, that stabilized approach is what you're looking for. That stabilized approach is consistent, and it's something you can consistently do every single time. We see some pilots bringing in a very stabilized approach low. Guys like Micah Lindstrom bringing it in down to 5, 10, 15 feet off the ground, getting that high angle of attack. Or guys like Dan Reynolds, that Chinook, staying very high and just allowing it to float to the ground. But Isaac's got those massive flaps out. And I'll drop the flaps immediately upon touching down. Joe asks, will the eSTOL airfields be made available for Xbox Series X users? What do you think, Austin?
So I can take that one, Eric. So we've tried a few times to make it work. Unfortunately, it didn't work. It was too difficult for a lot of the Xbox people to try to work without the strip. So we have requested, Anov has requested entrance into the Microsoft Flight Sim store. So we're working on that. Whether we get approved or not is yet to be seen. But I think after an event like this, we may well get on the fast track.
Super exciting. So we just heard from the booth on that information there, Austin. One of our most incredible pilots. This guy's got, I believe, it's over 30,000 hours, if I recall correctly, either 28,000 or 32,000 hours. Jeff Abrams, he's flying Piperzilla, and that's a Cherokee 180. He flies to so many of our events all over the country from Central Florida. And Jeff wants to fly on the Xbox. He asked the same question. He's like, I would love to join these with you guys on the Xbox. And it would be awesome to have him. Like, honestly, he's an old hand. He knows his stuff. He knows his airplane, former airline pilot. This guy is consistent. And he's just a lot of fun to watch. His fans are hilarious, running around their Piperzilla shirts and running around with stickers. And these live events are something special. So if you guys get the opportunity, we said it before, Austin, you've got to come to the next event, man. We got to see you in Dallas.
Oh, I want to. And, that's like the consistency you were talking about is another consistent thing we see is a lot of people on Xbox want to fly in these events. So we hear you guys, we do, and you know, everything that we're doing to get it in the store, we're trying to fast track it as much as we can. We know as a sim community, and some of the people not in the sim community might not understand this, but to explain it, you know, we're at the mercy of MSFS for letting us in the store, but we are trying for you guys. We want to make sure that we get that in there for you guys, and we're doing everything we can. So we will, as soon as we can, we'll get it in there for everybody on Xbox.
Super cool, man. I'm excited as we start closing up this backcountry class. You know, we've seen some strong competitors. We've seen very different flying styles. And because of those differing flying styles, we're seeing very different results. You know, there's no question here that Outside Bad is the aggressive one here, and he's getting the most performance he possibly can out of that Cessna 170B. I don't know if these are 170Bs with the IO360, excuse me, the O360, or if these are designed to operate with the O300. But a great question from NC says, is there a forum thread we can vote to have the strips in the MP? Question for you, Austin.
There is a forum thread. Stoyer is taking care of that. He's one of our scenery guys and does a lot of work behind the scenes for getting this all set up. And shout out to Anov and Stoyer. Those guys are great. But yeah, so Stoyer's working on that. And if Stoyer can put the link in the chat, or actually I can grab it. I'll put the link in the chat right now.
And then I have another question from another one of our Twitch pages. We're streaming this as well at twitch.tv/aviator. From Tom Minnick, who's a good friend. He asks if, also, he's a flippin' wizard, guys. You ever want to meet somebody who can just do incredible things? He is that guy. He asks if there's a Discord thread for the sim stuff. So if you don't mind throwing that in the twitch.tv/aviator, throw that Discord in there. We'd love to have new people join. And with that said, Lad Gardner presented Backcountry class is final here, guys. In fifth place, Felix Jolson from Norway in the Cessna 152 with a best run of 718. Frankie Poops, 685. Byron Bowman, 560. Isaac Lane in that Aviat Husky taking second place with a run of 412. And Outside Bad with an incredible run of 315 feet. Great performances from all. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsors, and then we'll be back with an incredible air show from Hammerhead Air Shows right here in Microsoft Flight Sim. Super excited as always, and another thank you to Lad Gardner for all they do for us. We'll see you guys back here in just a couple of minutes.
When it's time to recover and paint your fabric-covered aircraft, look no further than AirTech Coatings. Since 1982, our FAA-approved system provides you with a shiny, durable, easy-to-apply product. The AirTech system has fewer steps than any other product on the market today, saving you both time and money. While using cutting-edge technology, we offer a wide range of products. Whether it's for work, play, antique, or aerobatic, we have you covered. Remember, we make paint fly.
All right, guys, we are back and excited as ever. This, guys, what we're looking at right here is something I've never seen in a flight simulator before. Austin, walk us through this once again. The Juice Goose.
Yes, the Juice Goose. Okay, so the flight sim community is not used to seeing something like this, but what else can you expect from a guy like Edson in a company like Parallel 42? You got the B-Sticks, license plate on there. Obviously, that's just my my code, my tail number, but it's transferred to the license plate on the car here. But this car is fully drivable. It's going to come with some trails and things like that. I'm really excited to see what the FlightSim.to community does with this with the trails. We're going to see all kinds of crazy things. I think we're going to see jumps and tracks, and it's going to be a great time. But Parallel 42 has been working hard on this. This is going to be in the giveaway today. And like I said earlier, you won't be able to fly it a little early. Yeah, you won't be able to play it early or drive it early, but about 5 days, and you guys will be able to use this. So it's so weird for me even to say it, but you'll be able to drive this Juice Goose on the ground in the flight simulator. And if you have flow, you actually won't have to click fly. So that'll be nice. You can just drive it.
That's super cool, man. I'm excited to see how this comes together. This changes the entire game. Like, this changes everything.
Yes. And there is another another thing too. Like, if you don't want the Juice Goose, you could get the Kit Fox or Flow, or what Parallel 42 calls Stripper, because it strips things from Microsoft Flight Sim that they deem unnecessary. So those are all great programs that you can also win. But I think my money's on the Juice Goose. I don't know about you guys, but new product. I think everybody's already got the Kit Fox, right? So Juice Goose it is. In my chat seems to say that the Juice Goose is going to win that giveaway. Whoever wins is going to pick the Juice Goose.
Yeah, man, you've got some great comments in your chat. People saying, put some paddle tires on it when I'm headed to New Zealand, Medford Bay. You know, the detail really is amazing. But Ringbolt asked you to rev it, and I'm not sure if we can get the audio to this or not. But if it's possible to rev it, I feel like that's something we should do for the fans.
Oh, we can. Let me see. Now, unfortunately, I haven't had the time to set everything up right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the ground. You guys know me. Slewing is the way to go.
This is.
Let me see if I
actually
I turned my sound off. So Ringbolt, we will rev it together in about 5 days. Okay, you guys, we're gonna go on a huge trail ride with this thing. So my sound is off, and I won't be able to get it on very easily. So
all right, let's see.
My sound is actually off. So.
There we go. Well, guys, no worries. The Juice Goose looks flipping amazing. The underglow is wild. And we've got some great opportunities, guys. The folks at Hammerhead Aerobatics decided that they wanted to give back to the community also. I've been watching their practices. This stuff looks absolutely wild. It reminds me a lot of some of the aerobatic teams in France. I'm excited to watch these guys fly. So with that said, we've got about 5 minutes of some pulse-pounding aerobatics brought to you from the cockpit by the Hammerhead himself. And we are live, side by side.
Hammerhead Aerobatics, super excited to see these guys. A couple of these guys have been a member of our community for quite a while. And so it's really great to see them, bring this together. And we're happy to have them featured here today. So check these guys out. I'm sure they have a Discord or something like that, and one of them will throw it in the chat afterwards.
They're saying that it's going to be a couple of minutes before they're completely prepped. They're coming into the airfield now, already flying that tight formation. As a GA pilot, formation is still my favorite thing aside from STOL. Like, it is just the best
They are flying the Got Friends GB, which is, you guys can pick that aircraft up in the Microsoft Flight Sim store or at got-friends.com.
That is super cool to watch, man. The speed that they're carrying is fantastic. And as we see these outside angles of the formation, it's really impressive.
It's really good to see these guys come into. I watched them, grow as a team over the last, about a month or so, and they're really putting in a lot of practice. And they're all talented to begin with, but then flying in a formation as a team, right? That's the hard part, I think. You can be as good as a solo flyer, but flying together like that is that's the part that matters, I think.
100%. As you're in trail, they're really trying to keep things coordinated here. An inverted push. I just keep thinking to myself, but how much of a difference latency makes a difference, or how much of a challenge latency makes it. There's my English. Having higher latency and trying to compete and keep these things this tight has got to be a massive challenge. Man, that outside video angle you guys are about to see is just sensational. Our FPV operators killing it, guys. Vinny and Du are just doing their best to keep up with all the action here. Some of these outside shots with the mountains in the background are just staggering. You guys are making me want to travel. A little aggressive. Into a flat spin beneath him. Looks like they're setting up a rejoin. Arguably one of the most challenging things to do in aerobatic formation displays. These rejoins really test the mettle of understanding the speed of every piece of this. Trying to hit your spots, know your markers, know which gates you need to fall behind. If you guys are hearing a horn honk, it's I'm getting that in the background. I'm not sure if it's going live on stream, but Burstix is having a ball. You should see the size of his grin. He figured out how to make the car run.
Yes, it's behind the scenes. It's very, very fun. That horn
Beautiful
is the Kitfox,
splash.
actually. So Trent Palmer's Kitfox has a horn in it, and Parallel 42 decided to model that in one of their updates a few months ago. So that's the horn that you're hearing, is that Kitfox horn that's in Trent Palmer's plane.
That's just fantastic. People in my chat thought it was a stall alert. Again, mad respect to the guys at Hammerhead. Some of these outside angles are a little bit tougher to hold, but they're just incredible to see how close these guys are flying. Obviously, we're following the lead right now on stream. You guys don't see that there's two other aircraft within about 10 feet of him right now. He's flying the lines perfectly, keeping them nice and tight. There's that outside view I talked about. Again, quite a challenge in these rejoin moments. Starting to play there in trail. Fantastic control. Doing this with two aircraft is very, very challenging because you've got... Generally, you don't see the jet teams try this one, right? The stakes are a little higher with two airplanes going around the same trail, but that looks fantastic.
Wow.
What a great display.
Hammerhead. Amazing.
What a finale, guys. That is super cool. So recently
All right,
I was in France watching the Pétrolier de France doing that exact maneuver, and it made me happy. But we're back, guys. We're back here to do some absolutely awesome stuff. Let's check out this crazy machine.
So Ringbolt wanted me to rev it up, but I forgot it's electric, right? So we're not going to hear a ton, but at least it's good for the atmosphere in the sim. But the Juice Goose, guys, check this thing out. I was having a lot of fun while I was watching the air show and behind the scenes, but this thing is amazing. And I'm not very good at driving it yet, but it's very, very nice. I was jumping it, but I'm not going to do that because I couldn't get it to land perfect yet. But I'll practice. You guys know me. There'll be a few, but let's just park it up here.
That is too cool, man. What a cool thing. Now, as someone who's put the lines on the runway, I just have to give a huge tip of the hat to the entire Environments crew who has made this incredible Johnson Stoll patch happen. It looks fantastic, and now we have the Juice Goose sitting there ready to rock and roll. Shout out to Flight Sim stuff as well.
How the little antennas go back and forth on it. I think you guys are going to have a lot of fun in this, and price point on it's not too bad, so you guys will be happy to see that. Artusa cool. Says, stop playing around with unreleased vehicles, burstics. I can't help it. When Edson gives me the pass, I got to do it. I got to tell you guys how it is, how it's going to be.
All right. Well, guys, as we have continued having way too much fun, we're going to get started here again in a moment with our Unlimited series. We've had some great aerobatics. We've seen fantastic performances from our touring category and our backcountry category, but Unlimited is what most people come to our events to watch. We've got the lineup for you all. Riley Wilson in the Zlin Savage. Kayla Nikolaev with the Kitfox Series 5. Casey in the Zlin Savage as well. Ali Simmons in a Kitfox 5. Kat Blueflame in a CH-701, as well as Lucy in the 701. I'm seeing what potentially could be a lot of ladies pilots in the Unlimited series, which is awesome to see. And this, of course, brought to you by Factory 10 Aerospace Composites. If you need something built from composite for your aircraft, make sure you reach out to Factory 10. Absolutely stuff. And I've been told it's Ali Simmons, but it's like diamond. So I have to figure out how to say diamond. Simons. There you go. Simons. I got to figure this out. This is the joy of having not had those relationships with the pilots yet. When you guys come out to the National STOL events in person, we'll definitely look forward to having you. Lurch says the Kitfox is by far my favorite plane on the sim. Lurch, I thank you for that because I had a Kitfox. So it's not a sim one, but I love the Kitfox as well. Very nice.
Oh, that's awesome to find that out. I didn't know that, Eric. You got a Kitfox. How do you like it?
It's almost finished. So it's been almost finished for a year, but it's still almost finished. I'll let you know. I've flown many Kitfoxes, but not my own. So I'm looking forward to having it done.
I think one of the cool things too is like I learned how to fly, like I mentioned from Frankie, but when Frankie wasn't around, then I was able to learn from watching real life STOL videos on YouTube. And back then I didn't know, but I was probably watching your guys' videos. So guys, make sure you do get out to a real life STOL event, and make sure to check out their season events list, because if you can get out to one. I'm going to get out to one soon. I need to get out to one. Everybody should.
We hope to see you in November, brother. It'll be great to have you at the national finals. There's going to be a lot of build-up. There's pilots. There's big turnovers that can happen still. This points race has been wild, and I'm really excited to see it coming together. But guys, this is the Unlimited category. In real life, this is the part that everyone drops what they're doing. They're watching Steve Henry. They're watching Dan Reynolds. They're watching Hal Stockman. The last event, we had some crazy activity between a Highlander and a Carbon Cup SS, a newbie, a newcomer. They jumped in the Unlimited category because no one else was there. So super awesome to watch those guys fight it out. At the end, champagne was flowing and people were just having a time of their lives. Really, really exciting stuff. And we have a lot of contenders here in the Unlimited category. I can hear the prop tip whistle already from that beautiful Zlin Savage. And Riley Wilson is ready. I think that they'll be taking the line in just a moment. And we'll be looking forward to some intense competition here in the Unlimited category. So as this is, a virtual event, sometimes errors can happen, and there's a bit of a challenge with the server right now, which is holding back the start of our unlimited class. But that's not to worry. They're going to keep things moving and get it troubleshot as quickly as possible. We've never had a server error be the issue at a national STOL events. We've had lots of other issues. We've had rain. We've had bad weather. We've dealt with it all. 120-degree temperatures. Server issues is a new one, but that's quite all right. It looks like Kayla is taking the line now. What can you tell me about Kayla, Austin?
She's really new to the series, actually, and so if I'm not mistaken, her and Lucy came in together, and I know Lucy came in with Kat, so I think that's a group of friends there. Kat's been around for quite a while, and so watching Kat grow in her experience, and then also tell people about our event and get people in here competing has been really amazing. We appreciate that, Kat.
Super cool for sure. I'm looking forward to seeing the performance of this. I mean, obviously they're competing in this unlimited category. Tell me what they've done to these aircraft to make them unlimited.
So as far as the sim goes, it's just how the aircraft is built. CFG file edits are not actually allowed in our sim event because there's just too many possibilities. You could put a jet engine in that kit box if you knew how to do it. So as far as that goes, we don't allow any edits or anything like that to the plane. It's just all what the devs, the developers, and a lot of those guys that are sponsoring this event. It's all what they've done to the plane, So for the kit box, there's a stage 1, stage 2, and a low and slow. So I imagine they're flying the stage 2, right? Because that's the souped up one. But Edson did all that work. Parallel 42 did all that work to soup up that aircraft.
Very, very cool. Neat to see people tinkering and messing with their airplanes, making them faster, making them do more things. That's the whole point of racing, isn't it? I mean, that's innovation happens at the edge of racing, and that's what we love to see. All these pilots, we mentioned Warren Grobelar creating, finding a way to get a field approval on the shocks for his 180. Different guys like Steve Henry now using 8-puck brakes on his Highlander. Just incredible. That's Lynn diving to the ground. Casey off the ground. Really quick takeoff in the Savage. That was incredible. I guess when there's no real risk of striking your prop, you don't worry about getting the tail up too high.
Now that plane actually has nitrous on it. If that is that's the carbon actually. So if that's the carbon, that plane doesn't have nitrous on it. The gravel does. And since we're in the unlimited class, I imagine we will see some gravels in here. The Savage gravel, it does have that nitrous on it though. So you'll see some really short takeoffs from that, wind or no. And we have a lot of great pilots that are able to help and teach you guys some stuff, and they're very fun. So come on and get in there if you want to see yourself in one of these events someday. That's where you start.
Drops the wheel. Things got a little spicy. A little sporty over the fence. And back down. I don't think that was the landing they were looking for. I think that was a... We think that he may have been trying to get to the other runway and then came over here. This is a challenge. This is something that we work really hard to brief in real life. But thankfully the consequences are not as drastic in a simulator event.
I think that's the great thing about, you know, being able to do this in the sim, you know, is like we get to practice this, and you know, in it, that way there's no risk involved.
Nice smooth approach. Landing lights are on. Flaperons are down. Dragging it in past the fence. Heavy on the brakes.
Ooh, close call to the fence. I like it.
Yeah, very nice. In the chat, Amy Cutie says, that's not going to be the FAA. That's a whole manslaughter case. Yeah, that's a bit of a challenge for sure.
They don't have any of that in the sim. I haven't seen anybody being prosecuted yet. We do have some crashes every once in a while, but we try to keep her as safe as possible, even in the sim.
All right. We've got Kat doing their best to play the Jan Eggenfeller card. Nose off the ground as hard as can be in that 701. Looks like she's cheated as far to the left-hand side of the runway as possible, trying to utilize that crosswind component. It's the first time we've seen that today. Race number 69. Really cool livery. And
yeah, Fire Guy Mike, that was a glitch.
He said that was a glitch with the other.
There was a
landing?
cab. It was actually the cab was open on one of the camera views, and just a glitch in the aircraft. Every once in a while, you'll see that, and a lot of times it has to do with add-ons. When sometimes people have add-ons for certain planes, and then other people don't have them, and these are additional things that that are outside of the main package of the plane, right?
Right.
And Allie was just using the pushback feature there.
So is that a reversing propeller?
A CAD, actually. No, there's actually a pushback feature in the sim that would simulate something like a wing walker that you guys would have in an IRL event if they needed to push them back across the line, and it wasn't, Did
you
like
see that
Austin
takeoff? That was like 20 feet. That was incredible.
Yes, amazing. The Zenith is a pretty big contender in the unlimited class here in the sim, and you're going to see some, even with no wind, you'll see some really short takeoffs and landings.
I know that Sheldon Hetherington is watching right now and hoping to see that level of performance from his 701 at the next event. I can tell you right now, I'm looking forward to seeing that level of performance. Again, that pushback feature from Lucy, stopping right on the line. See, 24-foot takeoff from our previous pilot, absolutely sensational. Those are Steve Henry numbers for sure.
Look at this livery. I love to see this. And I think Kat did the liveries for this group of gals here that are flying pretty much together in this 701, right? They're a little troop, And so I think she did all the liveries, and she's a new livery creator. So it's only been, I would say, about a month or 6 weeks since she started making them, and they're looking really good.
Really, I mean, that's a lot of skill for sure. That's incredible to see. And we saw that takeoff looked even shorter, perhaps around 21 feet. Absolutely sensational.
And to translate that over to, people that don't know about the sim, a livery is just basically, in the sim, what they do is they paint it in a 3D model or a 2D model. So Kat's basically a painter or a shrink wrapper, I guess, for to switch that over, but just on a computer program instead of doing it in real life.
That's super cool. Riley Wilson now in that Zlin Savage Gravel Edition. This is the one that includes nitrous oxide, something many of our unlimited pilots use. It's certainly interesting to see. It looks like he's gone past the line, giving up about 2 feet there, maybe even 3, and off the ground with aggression. A lot of our pilots they will work to save the 6 inches. If they're 6 inches over the line, they're not happy.
Now, was it CC Pocock in one of the events that lost in the in-person events that lost the ability to use their nitrous? Do you know what happened there? Do you remember that?
Blew off, actually. Yeah, their nitrous tank, for some reason, it developed a leak and blew off all the nitrous, and he was able to borrow some nitrous from another competitor. I believe it was Hal Stockman.
That's what I love to see. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
A lot of good friends in that community, I would imagine. Just like Justin
This
getting
right
his
here-
rudder pedal fixed in one day.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So right here, guys, this is what I was wondering about. I mean, this is going to make or break. We've got a 24-foot takeoff and giving up a lot of distance there on the landing. An almost shocking amount of distance, to be honest. I anticipated the power pull a bit earlier. There could have been a push of air there. Could have been something that just helped her remain aloft. It is a good landing, but it's certainly not ideal. With a 127-foot landing, it gives her a combined score of 151. It does put her in the lead, but she's got some strong competition there. Lucy right behind her with a 21-foot takeoff. My announcer's eye was correct. 21 feet to get off the ground. All she has to do is beat that landing, and she'll be in the lead.
Pile Boss on the Twitch chat says, I love Hal. Pile Boss loves Hal Stockman. All right.
Everybody loves Hal. You can't help it. Speaking of people who love Hal, Flyboy Sem, Got Friends, Sarasota Avionics, Big Radials, USA Trailers Direct, and Legend Aircraft. Committee Coffee, these are some of our sponsors for the Unlimited series. We absolutely love them and truly appreciate all they do to support both our in-person series and now this eSTOL series, bringing STOL to a whole new generation and making it more accessible for all. Low and to your right. Gently over the line, stopping much faster, your new leader, Lucy Radstack.
All right, looking good.
That livery is absolutely beautiful. Looks like about a 52, 53-foot landing, combined with her 21-foot takeoff, gets this into some serious Unlimited numbers. These are the kinds of numbers we expect from Unlimited. Absolutely awesome. We'll have that combined total in just a moment here, but now it looks like we have Riley Wilson, who had a 92-foot takeoff in that Zlin Savage Grabble. Again, giving up 2 or 3 feet on the line by crossing it. May not have understood the rules fully. Totally acceptable. Lucy's total now coming in at 74 feet. Go ahead, Austin.
Forder learned to fly from the Twitch chat says that's what a 701 can do. And I'll tell you what, Forder is a pilot in real life, and working with him, he did a news article for our event here, and did a very good job with that, and has been talking about our event in his chat. So we appreciate that, Forder, and he knows what a 701 can do in the sim and in real life, I would imagine.
Super cool to see this Savage now just over the line, dropping the power, pulling the flaps. Oh, not pulling the flaps, kept the flaps in, could have been a little bit shorter. Again, this being the first event we've hosted together, there's a lot of little small eccentric things that you'll learn that will just really massively help your score over time.
Yeah, you know, a lot of times you'll see the eSTOL pilots taking those flaps out, you know, sometimes before they hit the ground, just like you would see in real life. But every once in a while, you know, when you're in the pilot, or when you're in the, you know, when you're in the pilot seat, you might forget to pull that kind of stuff if you're, this is a big event, you know, there might be some nerves involved in that.
There's a lot going on for sure, and it's going to be really unique to see as these modelers are able to do more and more to make these more and more like the real-life aircraft. Kayla back to the line in that beautiful Series 5. Power's coming in. Aggressive. Ooh, pulling it off the ground with some serious aggression. The fact that we're able to do this in a computer game from different places all over the world, brought together by a love of aviation, is just the coolest thing to me. You know, you've got folks like Casey. Where's Casey from? Let me look this up really quick.
Yeah, I think the goal too is to bring these two communities closer together, and you know, to see these two communities grow. And we have real life pilots that are flying in the eSTOL event today, and you know, it's going to be great when we see some of the eSTOL competitors or the national STOL competitors come in here and fly with us as well.
That's going to be the game-changing moment because we're really going to see a lot of pilots just grinding it out. You know, you've got guys like Micah Lindstrom, who I know his personality, and he will not rest until he is in the leader on the leaderboard.
And gas is a little cheaper in the sim as well.
That is highly accurate indeed. These guys, this class alone right now, we have folks from the U.S., 2 from the U.S., 1 from Canada, 1 from Australia, 1 from Great Britain, and 1 from the Netherlands. That is just wild to see. Right now on your screen is Ali Simons, like diamonds. Ali comes to us all the way from Australia. I can't imagine what time it is there right now. I feel bad for them. But here they are, ready to compete in this Kitbox Model 5. We've seen a lot of aggression from her earlier.
I'm sure they've got the Red Bulls queued up and ready to go over there in Australia, but I'm sure it is late, or early.
It's one of the two, and it's definitely not today. So it's all part of the journey.
Right. Imagine trying to figure out showing up to an event and figuring out the time and the day if you lived in that far away, you know.
Absolutely.
I'm sure they're good at it. But
Kayla with the wigwags at Series 5, slowing it down, really slow over the fence. Looks like they might have a breath of wind now. Ooh, on its nose. We saw a lot of braking in there into that bounce. And again, propellers are a lot cheaper here too, so I suppose that they don't mind going on their nose. That's extra braking.
Yeah, it's usually pretty fixable. So
Just
now,
hearing from race control that they're only allowed to have 1 of those per event or they're disqualified. So they have to keep it off the nose. They're allowed 1 just in case. But if they get a little over-aggressive in their braking, they've only allowed to do that 1 time or they're disqualified from the event that weekend. So good information from race control as always. KC now in that beautiful Carbon Savage. Much more aggressive approach. Again, giving up a lot more distance into a bounce. They're not going to be happy with that score for sure. And coming off heading under braking.
I got to give a lot of credit to Crossroads, though. He's brand new into the eSTOL community, and him coming out here and competing today probably took a lot of courage to do. And so I love to see it, and we're gonna work with him and get him all tuned up, and he'll be flying with the best in no time. That's
awesome to hear, man. The community you guys have built with people willing to support each other through anything is what it's all about, both virtually and in person. You know, this community really supports each other. We see Ali now on approach. Previous round, 206, putting her firmly in 3rd place, 20 feet ahead of Kayla, and about 54 feet behind Kat, who is just over double the score that Lucy put down. I'm looking forward to seeing what Kat can do this next round, but now Ali, really impressive landing. Just past the 100-foot line, 108 feet, give or take. Hearing these prop tips whistle is pretty awesome. Tail on the ground, nose wheel off of it. Kat, it's got a chip on her shoulder. She needs to take down Lucy. She was just 3 feet off of Lucy's takeoff last time and gave up a lot on the landing. She's using that flying body airframe to her best advantage, ready to slam the power forward and try to maximize her lift. We see John Humber do this. We see Jan do this in their Zeniths. It's a very unique airframe. Justin Tisdale says no, he's not doing it, not with that big Honda on the nose. I mean, I'm loving these liveries. This is too cool to see. Kat Blue Flame, 24 feet last time. She nails this landing. She is a contender, and she's on the roll. Very aggressive, just over 10 feet, maybe perhaps 12 to 14 feet is what it looked like to me.
Wow.
Holy cow.
And now she's getting into her groove. She's getting into what she does in practice every week.
How many hours a week would you say these pilots are flying in practice?
You know, I get reports from people all the time. They'll go out to Johnson's or Music City, the two that we have in right now, and you know, people message me randomly and say, "Hey, there's a bunch of people out there," you know, and it's becoming a very almost an everyday event. So I mean, I can't even track that, but there's always people out here. And as far as the stream, we practice, you know, with my stream on the side, we practice probably 6 hours a week as a rule.
That's fantastic. Look at this takeoff, getting the nose back down, keeping those wings level. Very impressive takeoff again from Lucy.
And that
21
livery,
feet
wow.
last time. Oh, I know. The livery is just sensational. If I get back
wings
into
on the
this on
back.
the eSTOL side, I'm going to have you guys make me some cool liveries.
Oh, Eric, we're going to get you into it. We'll make you a livery of your kit box if you want. We'll get it done. Somebody out there can do it for sure.
I'm in, man. I've got Microsoft Flight Sim. I've got a 49-inch monitor, and I've got a 3090. I think I should be good, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Riley on the roll, very aggressive, crossing the boundary of that runway. He'd be hearing from race control if this were IRL. We definitely want to make sure that we don't cross the boundaries of the runway because we have flags out there that Jeff Pohl is the only one allowed to take out.
Sometimes it might be a little hard to control that nitrous, but you know, we got to keep her in the middle of the runway for sure.
Looks like we have Lucy back on approach. Excuse me, this is Kat. Kat on approach now. Kat with the axe to grind. This is the biggest fight we've seen so far from two aircraft that are so similar and two pilots who both have obviously incredible skill. That incredible takeoff that she got last time was absolutely nuts. The information on your screen's not correct. It's not Riley. There we go. 151 last
Kat by her
round.
livery.
That's right.
Just got to remember that is Kat is in the red livery.
Kat now much more controlled approach. It appears as if she's higher than Lucy was, but that could allow her to transfer the energy into the ground, right? If you're able to chop the power and get all that energy into the ground, you don't roll as far because of, you know, it's physics. She is slow as can be. Chop the power, heavy on the brakes. I do believe we may have a new leader in our unlimited class. Kat just putting on a clinic here. Insane takeoffs, really good landings. We'll have those numbers back from the booth in just a moment. But Lucy, our current leader, is coming in now. She's put down an incredible score of 74 feet. Looking forward to seeing what she's able to do here. Tell you what, seeing all these
fast the
go right ahead.
It's great to see how fast the airplanes are moving, and you know, for the first eSTOL event, ADK sure is doing a great job as air boss. I love to see it. Even with the little incident we had with the server, we still have things moving great, and I love to see it.
Absolutely. That's the heart of it, right? You got great volunteers putting together something, and they're doing a masterful job of it. Lucy now, she is holding it on the edge, hoping for a little bit of wind, trying to retain her title, which this just in from the booth. Lucy still in first place by 5 feet. Really aggressive on the brakes there, getting that energy into the ground a bit more than we saw from Kat. Kat with a score of 79 and Lucy with a score of 74. We'll wait and see what the results are from this round. But it would be tough to beat that 53-foot takeoff. She is over 60 feet here, just past that 60-foot marker. With a 20-foot takeoff this round. Really impressive. And she'll be clearing the runway as Riley Wilson in that beautiful Savage Gravel with nitrous equipped. Not that the nitrous will help him here. What do you think, Burr6? Do you think there's an opportunity for some of these modelers to start creating mods like we saw with Austin's propeller, having that reversing prop?
Oh, absolutely. I think there's a lot of opportunity to have planes, modified for for this event. I don't know if that will be brand new planes because, sometimes if you have a plane, a lot of times developers can't really go back to it. They're moving on, working towards the future. But there are a lot of great FlightSim.to guys that create freeware stuff, and if we get a mod for the Husky that has a reversing prop and we approve it, that's something that we could definitely see.
I'd love to see it for some of these airplanes as well. To see a reversing prop on a Zenith, for instance, would be wild. Great control here, just keeping it off the ground. Riley transfers the energy to the ground like he wants. I believe he probably added a bit more power than he'd hoped to, but he was able to make it past the line.
And I don't know where I was, but I'm just seeing this. Lucy R and Cat B within 5 feet of each other, really duking it out.
They really are indeed. I think that's going to be the fight to watch. Our two front runners 5 feet apart with another round to go.
And that's the key word, another round to go. We'll have to see who's going to take it home. And everybody else, everybody else still has a chance. But these two are really 100%. Going at it.
I'm excited to see our exhibition class where we have double enders for the first time ever at a national STOL competition.
Amazing. We got to get the real double ender. Actually, I don't think it's flown in a while, but if it might not happen, yes. I don't think it's flown in a while, but if we did see it at a national STOL event, we wouldn't be sad about that. We'd be happy.
No, we'd be thrilled, and I know some other incredible unlimited class airplanes under construction right now. Our next couple of seasons looking to be even more incredible than what you've seen so far. We've got some great pilots coming back that have been building new airplanes, true race airplanes, pushing the edge of the boundaries as far as they possibly can, just absolute monsters.
The real question is, do you think we're going to see Steve Henry in here competing in the eSTOL class? How do you think? What are the chances of ever seeing that?
I don't think it would be uncommon. I think that once he sees how tough the competition is, he gets a feel for it. I think that Steve couldn't stay away, but we'll have to see. I'll have to find out from him what his thoughts are on it, because he might not be willing to do it until someone builds a Highlander for him.
Oh, we'll work on getting that done.
But you'll have to get the accurate horsepower numbers, which you'll never do.
Right. Too many horsepowers in that plane.
That's right. That's right. Allie Simons now. First round 206, second round 182, locking in third place right now, over 40 feet ahead of Kayla. Still has room to improve in this Kit Fox Model 5. I'm assuming this has the STI wing. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous livery. Some bright lights. Those must be aero LEDs. Very aggressive and off the ground early. Her first takeoff at 64 feet. That looks similar. Great control from Allie. Our race control throwing the red flag up on the screen. I was starting to wonder and worry, but no, it's a green flag. We're off to the races. Kayla, Kit Fox, 226 round 1. A very intriguing flight pattern on round 2 that led to a disqualification. She only had a 74-foot takeoff on that round, so I know she's going to be very frustrated with that, which is leading us to a very nice stabilized approach right now. Super clean, nice and slow. The flaperons working their way in, crossing the fence. And it looks like we have folks in the chat agreeing to make Steve's plane already. I would love to see Steve Henry in here mixing it up with the Zeniths. That would be sensational.
A while back, I showed that to their 3D modeler, and when he saw the little tires, Crode was like, you know what? This plane is really, really amazing. So I put the bug in their ear a while back, and so it's nice to see them say that in chat. I can't wait, and I'm very excited.
One of my favorite things about Steve's plane is you watch him taxi to the line, and you watch him press a button, and the tail of the airplane shrinks about 12 inches as the hydraulic shock is detensioned. So that he increases the angle of attack immediately. Just some really cool little elements in that. Big bounce from KC. And again, a little bit sideways there. Losing a little directional control. Did not qualify the first round, but had a 90-foot takeoff. Second round, 80-foot takeoff and a 447 landing. That landing looked like it was about half the distance. Really shrinking the gap there to 5th place. Very impressive. Allie now lost her 3rd place to Kayla at 165. Only 17 feet between Kayla and Allie. She's going to be working to improve her previous score of 182. If she can get ahead of Kayla's 165, it'll be most exceptional. That Kit Fox really working in that air. You can start to see the back and forth, wings dropping, things are getting slow. Off the power.
Right
across the line. We had a 39-foot takeoff. This looks like it could be a contender for that 165. We'll have to see once we hear back from the judges.
And it looks like it did. 160. She beats her by 5 feet. So there, Allie takes on 3rd place. And oh my gosh, it's great to see.
That is sensational. Taking 3rd place back. Kayla, 5 feet separating them. This is what this sport is all about, guys. It's these rules of inches sometimes. Kat taxiing to the line.
That 5-foot difference right there is great to see. I tell you what, looking at how close these are, you know these guys have been practicing similar planes, you know, landing in these similar fashions here. These guys are really well practiced. I'm happy to see it.
Absolutely. We got a note from Brandon Korn in the chat. He said he can't wait to build up a Cessna to compete. Brandon, I can't wait either. But off the ground in less than 10 feet is Kat Blue Flame. I believe that was before the 10-foot marker. I could have been mistaken. That looked like a Steve Henry takeoff if ever there was one.
Kat says she's taking that 1st place from Lucy.
5 feet separating these two competitors as well. Kat getting right on the line. Not too far. There you go. There you go. Now you're in position. Lucy waiting for the call from the air boss. And away she goes. A little slower. Looked like about 15, 16 feet perhaps, maybe even 18. Start to see the wobble in the wings. Very impressive. Riley Wilson in the Gravel Savage. It's so weird to me to see the airplanes roll backwards because this looks just like a National STOL event. This doesn't look like it's made in a flight simulator. This is going to be one of those videos that people make shorts out of and people fight over whether or not it's a flight simulator. It looks so real. On the roll into the nitrous.
I actually created a short, and part of that video is really hard to tell if it's a flight sim or not. And I know what you're talking about. Those comments, people are arguing in the comments. Is this real or is this not? You know.
There was one super viral one of a MotoGP for a long time. People was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe someone's riding this smooth." But it's pretty wild. Bravo Trooper Unlimited saying, "Who's ready to see a PC6 lose to some double enders?" Come on with that negative self-talk now, buddy. We want to see a PC6 take on the double enders.
And the exhibition class, you guys are just showing off your skills as individuals anyway, as individual pilots, because the exhibition class isn't meant to be, it isn't meant to be, pitting each plane against each other, because these are the planes that we don't really have a class for yet.
Yes, that's exactly right. And that's something that we're actually really hoping to work toward. Something that was one of my dreams coming into this company was I'd love to see a really competitive turbine class. We had Draco for a while. We have these incredible caravans. You get a good Cessna Caravan pilot out there that's perhaps running a Garrett motor, and that airplane becomes pretty darn competitive even on the 500-foot field that we have. So it'd be really exciting to see some of these guys get together, or heck, the Padies could bring out the PC-12. Let's do it. Let's have some fun. I think it'd be a lot of fun to watch these big, heavy airplanes operating that way. But right now, guys, we've got Kat in her beautiful aircraft, slow and low, pushing it here. Incredible takeoff, get off the power, and stop! I don't even know. That doesn't physic for me, my friend. That did not physic. 15-foot takeoff. A landing that's showing me 25 feet, 35 feet. Tough to tell from this angle. But that did not physic. I think that's going to be a wild one. The woman on the grandstand is pleased. The cheering is real. Looks like a 37-foot landing with an impossible stop, but that's all right. Wow. And right now, guys, Joel Dobson and Lexi Duncan in our chat, one of our pilots and our official line judge of National STOL, volunteer of volunteers. Love our team here, guys. Great to have you in the Facebook chat. Hope you're enjoying this. I can't believe it's not real. Can't believe it's not butter. There's lots of things not to believe. But Lucy Radstack is one you have to believe with a 22-foot takeoff, just 7 feet longer than her competitor. If she can get this landing in less than 28 feet, she'll be tied with Cat B's 52-foot total combined score. Just over the line, gave up a few extra feet there, and it's not going to be enough to beat Cat. But absolutely fantastic flying from the livery maker herself, Lucy. Great flying.
So I'm just getting some word in from Edson over at P42 that tomorrow there is a new custom CFG for all the KitFox customers. It comes from data that they captured at the actual Arkansas. They had a booth set up over at Arkansas and had a lot of fun out there. But they have a new custom CFG coming out to all the KitFox owners of the low and slow. So we'll see what's going to come with that, but that's pretty exciting to all you KitFox owners out there in the sim. You get to see a new custom CFG from Parallel 42 tomorrow. Make sure you go download it.
Very cool, man. I love that stuff like that you can push. It's almost like a Tesla. You can push these software updates so quickly. Very, very cool. Seeing Jason Bissott also on Facebook, another pilot of our great series, coming out to watch these guys do what they do best here in the simulator. Riley Wilson, a little bit of a wild ride, kicking that right rudder, straightening things out.
I wonder if he forgot to turn off the nitrous.
That was a bit of a yeehaw moment right there. He was headed for the flags.
I can't say I haven't done that once or twice. Forgot to turn off the nitrous, and you really wonder, if you forget, you wonder how it keeps going, and then you look down and you see you left the nitrous on.
The more you know. Challenges of eSTOL. Well, guys, as we're coming back around here, that's the last run of our Unlimited series. We're going to run through the standings and just prepare for our exhibition class, where we get to see two double-enders compete with the great and mighty PC6. The wins are coming up. Things are getting exciting. This will be our final round for the day from our first ever National eSTOL series. What a great opportunity. Austin or Burstix, thank you so much for having us. I can't wait for the exhibition class. And as we get these numbers correct, we'll do our best to go over them manually because our graphics aren't working. So hold up with me 1 second as I pull up the latest information. With a combined score of, still can't find it, here we go. Lowest score, 52 points. That's Cat Blue Flame. 52 feet, absolutely insane, followed by Lucy Radstack with 73 feet. Next up in third place, Kayla taking the prize with 160 feet. Sorry, that's not Kayla, that's Allie with 160 feet. Kayla following up in fourth with 165 feet. Fifth place goes to Riley Wilson with a combined score of 254. And with a very impressive rookie showing, KC taking it with 291 feet. Absolutely exceptional across the board from our Unlimited class right here. Love seeing it. Katrina says she's shaking. Thank you guys for hosting. Katrina, it's been our pleasure. And we can't wait for more right here in the exhibition series. This class has been brought to you by Factory 10 Aerospace Composites. As always, we love having these great sponsors highlighted. If you guys do want to give them some love on social, let people know that we see what they do for general aviation and for SEM aviation. Absolutely awesome stuff, guys. And with that, we'll be right back from a short commercial break.
Yeah, I got that right turn. We're good.
Let's meet up at the compound, group up.
At 10-4.
Yeah, for sure, dog.
Good, little driver. Straight on through.
When it's time to recover and paint your fabric-covered aircraft, look no further than AirTech Coatings. Since 1982, our FAA-approved system provides you with a shiny, durable, easy-to-apply product. The AirTech system has fewer steps than any other product on the market today, saving you both time and money. While using cutting-edge technology, we offer a wide range of products. Whether it's for work, play, antique, or aerobatic, we have you covered. Remember, we make paint fly.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back for our last and final epic round of exhibition class. What you're seeing right now on your screens is the USA Trailers Direct incredible production trailer. This thing has made our life so much simpler, guys. Doing this out of the back of a van or out of an RV or all the other ways that we've tried to do this over the years just wasn't working nearly as well. So we're super grateful to USA Trailers Direct. If you need a trailer, they are your people. Talk to them. You can find their website at usatrailersdirect.com, and you can find out tons of information at their dealerships. I believe they have over 40 dealers around the country. Great folks, great trailers, and we absolutely love ours. It makes life so much better. With that said, guys, we're going to kick things off. Austin, what should we expect from these double enders?
Oh, the double enders are going to be similar to what you're seeing with the 701. They're going to be very short on takeoff and very short on landing.
Very short is not a very specific number. Do you have any idea what we've seen in the past?
Well, we've seen some people land it in, under 10 feet. What's with a bit of a headwind, which we don't have today, I don't think. But, you're going to see anywhere between 10, 15, 20 feet, I would say, on takeoff and landing.
That is sensational. Obviously, the double ender is a legendary aircraft, 2 engines, doing all the work, designed and built to have the best possible view. What a cool airplane. And then we have that beautiful PC-6. And by beautiful, I say beautiful with a face that only a mother could love. I love the PC-6. It's an airplane that I just think is so capable. And to have one here to be able to display its skills, it's going to be wild. It's going to be an absolutely great time. It's got that crazy long nose, an incredible livery. I mean, talk about tiger stripes. So freaking cool, man. This is awesome. I noticed that both of our pilots of the double enders are coming at you from Virginia, but our PC-6 pilot coming from Ohio. We've got a slight delay for a technical challenge. Again, we're working with computers here, guys. Computers are difficult. But this guy flying the PC-6 was actually one of our in-person volunteers at Music City. We deeply appreciate all the help he gave us. These events could not happen without our volunteers. And we're basically 100% volunteer staff, which is crazy for a young company like ours. But National STOL is passionate about amplifying the safety and trying to, get things moving, get things in the aviation community moving forward. And there's nothing better for improvement and growing technology than racing. And with that said, because we have these great sponsors, we have all these great people. Austin, you wanted to give a bunch of stuff away. Do you want to walk us through what you want to do, how we're going to give stuff away today?
Oh yeah, so we're going to be giving away a bunch of stuff today. We're going to start out with the Flight Sim Stuff TPM. It is, if you can pan to the billboard back there, you'll see it right on the billboard. Flight Sim Stuff TPM. It's Cessna style TPM with a flaps, trim, throttle, propeller, and mixture management on it. So we're going to be giving that away. It's about $189 value. So I'm going to go ahead and start the giveaway and over in the Twitch chat. And we'll start it right now.
Fantastic. So if you guys aren't on the Twitch chat, you can go to twitch.tv/Burstix, which is BURSTIX TV. So Burstix TV, twitch.tv/Burstix. Hop over there to the chat and you can find a way to win this stuff. And I know that Brandon Korn, who is in the chat over on YouTube, I believe, or I think it's on YouTube, he needs this because he's flying that Cessna 205. He knows very well what those buttons look like. He needs to make this happen. So get over to twitch.tv/Burstix TV. That's BURSTIX TV, Burstix TV. So check this out, guys, and looking forward to seeing how this goes. They're doing the raffle right now. Heck, I'm going to join in. I guess I probably can't win, but I'm joining in, guys. We're going to see how it goes.
You just have to be a follower of the channel. So make sure you guys hit the follow button, and then it's !raffle space ticket, and then your number of tickets. You can do up to 10 tickets.
All right. So we use up to 10. Each ticket costs 10 bush coins. I got to. This is all like so modern, dude. If you have more recommendations, you just let me know. So I should. All right. So raffle. Let's see. We're trying to figure out the ticketing system for people who have not been longtime viewers of Burstix, but we're getting to figure it out. Austin's going to get this done correct. But for now, let's get these pilots off the ground and get into it while Austin figures out the raffle challenges. We've got the contenders lined up. It's about time I messed up a word really well, right? That's all part of the show, guys. Double ender number 1 in the classic livery, a National STOL on the tail. We're getting ready to release these pilots, and it's going to be Rock and Stole. Love that wingtip art. Bryant Hull in the double ender. See if we can get some audio there from the field so you guys can hear the roar of these two gigantic engines rocketing the double ender off the ground. Number 7. Hyper aggressive. Looked like about, oh my gosh, that climb rate. Looked like about 30 or 40 feet. It's no zenith, I guess. What a wild takeoff, though. Acceleration like we have not seen before. Tom Smith now, number 97. On the line. Slats are out, flaps are down. Classic cub tail. This is the stealth mode double ender. And if you guys want to learn more about the double ender, I know it's a weird name, but you can look it up. Away he goes, pulls a little early, stuck to the ground just a bit. But if you go to YouTube and you search double ender STOL, you can find videos of the real life double ender flying around Alaska, true bush flying, absolute rock star of an airplane. Really cool story. It's on Wikipedia as well. And now listen to that PT6 whine. The wings look like they're the size of Texas. I'm not sure our runway is wide enough for this PC6 Pilatus. Incredible aircraft, super capable. This is the airplane you load the family and a couple of motorcycles up in and head out. Or if you want to, you could also load the or unload the airplane, dive it, and have some skydivers fly into it. Ooh, lots of rudder control there from the Aspen driver. And away he goes. All right, we've launched the giveaway. Who's our winner, Austin?
And the winner is Vinny from the chat. Vinny from the chat won the giveaway, and super happy for Vinny to win that TPM. He's been getting kind of lucky, and not in my chat. He actually won another giveaway in another stream the other night. So very lucky, Vinny, and appreciate you guys trying to, following along in the giveaways. We'll have more to come here in a few.
Awesome, Vinny. Congratulations. I believe that's well won, my friend. Good job. Our first double ender is on approach. It makes such a unique sound. Let's see as this thing starts to make its way across the fence. A few weeks ago at Music City, I got the opportunity to fly an air cam again for the first time in about 20 years. And just being able to play with those dual engines certainly changes the game, but having them in line like this, ooh, it's a scratch for Bryant. Having those in line like this is definitely a different game altogether, much like the Cessna 337, the Mixmaster or Skymaster. You have that thrust line that's just the same. So you lose an engine and nothing really changes except you don't climb as fast. So really a unique aircraft combination. Looking up the Wikipedia for this airplane. Tandem seated, empty weight of 1,500 pounds, gross weight of 2,500 pounds. Making its way in at a little bit more high alpha from this pilot. Tom really hanging on the prop, letting the flaps do their job. Burst of thrust there to get across the line, transferring all that energy into the gear. Very nice. This used two Rotax 914 engines with 3-blade warp drive props, which I will say the warp drive is one of the stronger propellers for that aircraft, or for that engine. I can see why they may choose that for the backcountry conditions. Now we see the PC-6 going around, leaving plenty of room, making a great safe call. We always say practice like you play, right? You want to practice like you play, even if it's a simulator. You don't want to be landing an aircraft on top of another airplane. That does not look good for anybody. So great to see this is being done as safely as they are. Love the choices from our air bosses and from the pilots. Coming back around now.
All right, so next up we got the Parallel 42 giveaway. So you can choose between the Juice Goose, the Kip Fox, Flow, or Stripper. Those are all things that you can get. Now, Stripper's kind of a funny word, but it's just a program that helps get rid of some of the things that are unneeded, hence the stripping away from the sim.
Very, very cool, man. I'm excited to see who wins that, who takes it down. Just got information from the chat. I appreciate the follow-up, guys. It's so great to have people giving feedback like Katrina saying those engines are actually 916s. And Cesar Martinez asked if the PC-6 is too heavy. It is heavy. It's a big bird. This would be in our touring category if it was not a turbine, but this is a turbine aircraft, which makes it an exhibition as we don't have enough other turbines for it to compete against. Fast and to the right. This PC-6 is really moving. We can see the flaps come in very late. And a touchdown point around the 200 to 250 foot mark. Certainly did not scratch on that one, but it is going to be a maximum length landing. It's very challenging to manage all the systems. No matter if you're on a simulator or in person, managing a lot of systems, getting that approach really controlled, managing the descent rate, getting the flaps in, knowing how to get the aircraft as slow as you need it to be, is a challenge for anyone at any time. And when you're already feeling a little a little afraid of the double enders, and you're thinking ahead about what's happening, and then you have to go around. There's just so many different elements that are at play in a competition like this. Excellent flying, though, nice and safe. Got it on the runway, and got her stopped. Bryant Hull back to the line, ready for round two. Currently does not have a score. He scratched his first round, but hyper aggressive off the ground at about 40 some odd feet. Very impressive flying here from Bryant. Great camera work from our team. Wow, that's just beautiful. Tom Smith, our current leader, with a score of 154 feet. Onto the line, rocking it back, getting prepared. Gotta say, I'm liking that red stripe on the line. You kind of make me want to add that red stripe to our in-person events. Looking wild, super powered, and away he goes. Tom Smith, current leader with a score of 154. Again, great camera work from our team. Helping show off the double ender in all its glory. I'm going to call this the stealth double ender. And the PC6 now taking the field, currently in second place with a score of 825 feet. Getting heavy in those brakes. Go ahead, Austin.
It looks like we have a winner for the Parallel 42 Juice Goose, Kitbox, Flow, or Stripper, and it is Skipper Jeff from the Twitch chat. Skipper Jeff won that, so make sure you guys all get a hold of me on Discord. If you don't know my Discord, it's right there. Hop in that Discord that's in the chat now, and you guys can message me, and I'll get with you guys.
Congratulations, Jeff. Well done, sir. Very exciting. I'm excited to see that little go-kart running around, the UTV going wild. And Tom Smith now preparing to, sorry, not Tom Smith, Aspen on the roll. Quite aggressive, got that tail high in the sky. Kicking the right rudder, getting her off the ground, and right into that beautiful climb. Gotta love the sound of that turbine engine. The airplane looks like it's barely moving up there. Bryant Hull, no points on the board currently. Needs to make it past the line and get it stopped. Managing his energy as well as he can. Really pushing things. With 154 to beat, I don't know what his takeoff was last round, but it was pretty darn good. Certainly better than Tom's. Hearing these engines modulate their power as they come across. Looks like this one's going to be good. Over the line, hard on the brakes. Ooh, again, the measurement will be taken from the furthest point those tires were. It did rock back, but the measurement will be taken from the furthest point forward. Looks like around a 40-foot landing, 45-foot landing. Really cool to see.
You guys make sure to get those raffle tickets in, and so far we've been having a record number of users in here for the giveaways. You guys are really going to town with those.
Once again, guys, that's twitch.tv/Burstix TV. So BURSTIX TV. To do it like a pilot, that's Bravo Uniform Romeo, Sierra Tango Indigo, X-Ray Tango Victor. And we have a landing. It is good. His previous takeoff was 59 feet. Looks like he stopped at around 50. Bryant currently in the lead, actually takes the lead. Bryant took the lead at 91 feet. Oh no! We've got a nose down problem here, guys. Look at that. No prop strike, but that was a Dan landing if I've ever seen one. The Chinook. We've seen some crazy stuff lawn darting it in. Bryant taking the lead with 91 feet. Absolutely incredible. And if you guys look at on your screens right now, you can see that Twitch address from Race Control. And now we have Aspen and the incredible PC6. Super exciting to see this airplane on approach. He's again quite high. It looks like he's managing his energy much better this time. Oh, it's a scratch, I believe, but much better management of energy that time. Wow. And here he should have a reversing propeller. Very cool.
We are up to 34 users in the giveaway. Now I did lower that to 1 ticket per user, so that way new followers can come in and have a chance and everybody has the same chance that way. So if you're a new follower, you can still do it, and make sure everybody knows just 1 ticket per user to fair those chances up for brand new followers.
I'm trying it. Let's happen. All right, guys, we're getting ready for round 3. We had a massive upset last round. Tom S. His lowest score of 154 was toppled by Bryant Hull. Bryant now in first place with a 91-foot combined score. That is unlimited category. He's right there at the unlimiteds. Really impressive. Aspen sadly scratched on the last one, or it would have massively impacted his score with a much better score than he had the previous time at 825. Again, this is the exhibition class, guys. This is just for fun. This is just to see what we can do. And as we get ready for our final lap, we're going to see these pilots really pouring on the power, being aggressive, pulling the stick back, and away they go.
And it looks like Papa Mish won the Any Big Radios Playing giveaway, so congrats to Papa Mish on that giveaway. There's still many more to come. Next up, we're giving away the Mall M7 from Pilot Experience Sim. Guys, get in there and get in that giveaway.
Very cool, guys. Here we go. Tom Smith. He's out for blood. He's been bested, and he's not happy about it. 63 feet between he and Bryant Hull. As they're on the line now, think through what they're thinking through. They've got their flaps down. They're checking the windsock. They're waiting for the right gust of wind. In IRL, or actual normal national STOL, you'll see pilots with strings tied to their wings as their own wind indicators. But that was an exceptional takeoff, dropping the right wing, then the left, making it back down the center of the runway and into an incredible climb as expected. Our filmmakers doing a great job on those. And now the PC6 from Aspen Driver. Did not qualify on the previous landing, but did have a much longer takeoff. So his first takeoff was 225 feet. His second, 416. Didn't qualify, but that's okay. He's ready to give it all he's got. This is his last chance to show off the incredible capabilities of the PC6. Listen as he adds the power. We'll see if he raises that tail once again. Here he goes. He's under power, still spooling slowly. Gets the pull in. Looks like really good timing there. Not a whole lot of energy left over.
Now, to remind you guys in the chat doing the giveaways, it's !raffle space and then 1.
I'm trying to follow your directions, man. I'm on it. Awesome, guys. As we come in for our final round of landings. Go ahead, Arthur. Or Arthur. Go ahead, Austin. My kid's name is Arthur. I'm just mixing up A names.
Hey, people call me by the wrong name all the time. That's fine. No, I hope you do win something, Eric, for sure. We got to get you a plane and get you into the sim, right? You know, I mean, I know you've played simulators before, but we got to get you, into that Microsoft Flight Sim, vibe, and hopefully that will carry on to Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, which is coming out pretty soon.
I can't wait for that, man. That's so exciting. Bryant Hull now 9 feet shorter on his takeoff this time than the one that currently has him in the lead. If he can keep it off the ground until after the line, I'm not sure what happened there. We're going to need race control to look at a replay because it looked like he touched on the line, and then it says scratch from race control. I got a buffer there, and it just looked like he kind of appeared. It's wild. So it is a scratch. He'll be getting off the runway so that we can get Tom an opportunity for redemption. A 41-foot takeoff, a little bit of breeze there helping him out. He has a huge opportunity to take over.
Looks like we have a winner for the Mall M7. It is Allie in the house in the Twitch chat. That's her name in the Twitch chat. Allie, congrats on the win of the sponsored Pilot Experience Sim Mall M7. And another one's coming up here soon. The next giveaway is going to be Orbix, any single item from Orbix. And there's going to be 3 giveaways from Orbix. So there's any Orbix, 1 single item. There'll be a 6-month sub of Volanta and a 3-month sub of Volanta. All 3 are different giveaways, and we'll get those started right now.
Oh, heartbreak from Tom. really holding it off the ground there. He had a huge opportunity to better his score. He had a 41-foot takeoff, and the float cost him everything. This is an experience where one of our more traditional pilots with a lot of experience may have pulled flaps out early just to let it drop in, and that dropping in may have been all the difference he needed. But that's been awesome to watch. He will go home with second place unless we see something absolutely incredible from Aspen, and we'll see what happens there. Our audio is gone, but that's okay. Just for a moment, we're getting the audio back from the side of the field so you guys can feel like you're right there as part of the action.
Well, that's okay.
Challenges
because I think
of
they're
computers.
They're all going crazy over the giveaway, so I think they'll be fine without the sound for a few minutes while we get it fixed. We are hitting record numbers here in the giveaways, and they are just going up and up and up. So good luck to all you guys out there in the giveaways, and we'll get the sound fixed soon.
Love to see it. Here comes that PC6 coming right over the fence this time. Much more control. He is past the line, and he went around. Is he going to try to land again? Okay. That was some computer physics there. I'm not sure what happened. Could you explain that one for us? Austin can't explain it.
I actually had missed that. Maybe he tried to go around and then decided not to, and just to land safe. I think he did land safe, correct? But I actually missed the landing because I am over here, doing the giveaway, and I did not see it. So sorry, guys.
Hey, no worries at all. It was a pretty wild landing. Great touchdown. Looked like he had a balloon. Didn't see any pilot-induced oscillations. And then it looked like suddenly he made the decision to go around and then thought better of it. Really interesting. I'd love to hear from the pilot. I'm sure we will shortly in the chat as he's getting parked. Guys, this has been your very first ever National eSTOL event. And I have to say, Austin, thank you so much for all you did to bring this and to bring your community together, to meet with so many members of our community, to start to see what we're all about and what we believe in. We hope to see as many people as possible from all over the world at one of our in-person events, either at our national championships next month or at one of the events next year. We're coming all over the U.S. It's going to be a great year for us, and we're very excited. With that said, our exhibition class in third place with 825 feet is that Pilatus PC6, flown by Aspen Driver. In second place with 143 feet, an improvement over his previous score, is Tom Smith. And then next in first place with 91 feet combined takeoff and landing in the 2023 double ender is Bryant Hull. And I want to take just a moment to thank all of the sponsors that we had here. We had an incredible group of sponsors, both the sim sponsors, the local sponsors as we call them, the sim market, flight sim stuff, OrbX, Volanta, Got Friends, Flyboy Sim, A2A, //42. I don't know what that one is, but I believe it's the name of something.
That is Parallel 42.
Parallel 42. That makes so much more sense. PE Sim.
Parallel 42, yes.
Love to see it, guys. And of course, from our annual sponsors, Ladd Gardner Insurance, Legend Aircraft, Hartzell Propeller, Sarasota Avionics, USATrailersDirect.com, Lift Aviation USA, AirTech Coatings, Factory 10 Aerospace Composites, Aero LEDs, Rugged Radios, FlightHelmet.com, Flight Outfitters, Committee Coffee, Flying Eyes Optics. Some great products available for all of our pilots, whether you're a pilot in real life or a pilot online, or you just play one on the internet. That's fine too. What a great event. What a great time. To all of the great people who have been a part of this, just a huge thank you to the team that built this out, the teams that have put this together, and the community that made it all possible. From the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much. It's been amazing to be here as a host, and I look forward to the next one for sure. Austin, over to you, my friend.
I do want to say congrats to Outside Bad for winning the Any Orbix one item. It looks like Outside Bad had won the Any Orbix one item, so you can get anything on there that you want. My money would be on the maybe the 310 or the Corsair. Those are some nice planes, and they do hold a lot of realism in the sim. So some options for you guys to choose, or for Outside Bad to choose. But at the end of the day, that's up to him. And next up, we have the Orbix Volanta 6-month subscription giveaway, and that is up right now and has about 30 seconds left on it.
Super cool, guys. Neat to see the community all coming together.
So, and I want to say too, you know, thanks to National Stole for, you know, doing this, helping us with the production. You know, Tom and Eric and everybody involved over there. Us in the sim, from everybody, from all the pilots, from everybody watching, we appreciate you guys, and we are going to get out to a National Stole event in person. And you know, we can't have those all the time, but when we do get to see one, Eric, remind me when the next one's coming up. November, and it's in Sulphur Springs, Texas. What's the dates on that?
It's the very first weekend in November, so it's going to be, it's an excellent question, November 3rd and 4th in Sulphur Springs. It's presented by Legend Aircraft, so it's actually at their home field. You can book a tour of their factory and see their incredible operations. The area around Sulphur Springs is absolutely awesome, so really great opportunity to get out with your family. I'm bringing my whole family up there for the weekend. Cannot wait to just experience, you know, the great community of Stole in person and for real. So it's going to be a great time.
Yes, I definitely want to get up there, and I'm going to try as hard as I can, or down there actually, because I'm up in Michigan. But I definitely want to get down there and see everybody, meet everybody in person.
Absolutely. All right, guys, that is later. It for us. Thank you so much for everything. Thanks for being here. Burstix will be over on his channel giving away all the rest of the cool stuff. From the bottom of our hearts, guys, thank you, and we'll look forward to doing this again sometime soon. So long.
Yes, we still have a few more to go, so come on over to my channel. We'll do the rest of the giveaways, and then we'll do a little bush flight after that. So thank you guys. Much love to everybody who was involved. Everybody, you guys are awesome. You rock. Later.
Hello everybody, I'm Jeff Abrams. Welcome to Leeward Air Ranch. This is my house here with my 3 aircraft, and we're in Central Florida enjoying the beginnings of Hurricane Idalia. It's approaching here in the next probably 36 hours. Weather permitting, on Friday morning I'll be departing my house here at Leeward and heading up to Music City Airport in Nashville area. And in Piperzilla, that's the blue and white aircraft over there in the front of the hangar, and competing in the touring category. And hopefully the weather cooperates and everything else. The one other issue we might have to deal with is if we have no electricity, I won't be able to get my hangar door open. One thing I like saying, I've got over 2,000 hours of R22 time, and I paid for every one of them. This is an expensive hobby. All right. The R22 you can push around all by yourself. R44 you need 2 people. Yeah, either that or you hook it up to a golf cart or something. All right, we'll turn some power on. Confirm we've got fuel as indicated. Yep, looks good. The mixture's rich. 3 squirts of the throttle. 1, 2, 3. It barks pretty loud. In the first 30 seconds it sounds like it shouldn't be working. And the reason is You got belts and pulleys and gears and stuff all going at different speeds once the blades turn. So once they catch up with each other and start synchronizing, it'll sound better. And that's where it smooths out. Yep. All right, let me program the GPS real quick. We'll put our headsets on. All right, check. I hear you loud and clear. All right, we're doing a warm up. It takes about a minute and 25 seconds roughly to get the clutch light to go out. Put that in later. I just put these drip pans under there, saves the floor a little bit. Just perfect. There, and then I put my gas can. That tells me to put fuel in it later. You know, sometimes we get a flood in here. It's very rare, but a storm like this could be the one. I might do it this time. We're calling for a lot of rain. There, and there's sandbags, like I say. See the sandbags over there? I'll decide if I want to use them tomorrow or not.
Now the winds are at 80 miles per hour, gusts at 90 within the next several hours. Some of those first rounds of rain from this system. As I show you future radar straight ahead, you'll see that. But here is the official cone, and yes, technically, we are not in the cone. There has been a shift. That was as of 5 o'clock this morning, excluding even Marion County.
This is a 1965 model airplane. It was the #1 Piper Cherokee 180 off the assembly line that year. I've done a lot of sort of modifications to it. They're called STCs in the world of aviation. There's over 20 of them on there. Besides the 1/4-inch windshields that make it quieter and more bird-proof, we've got vortex generators all over the airplane, including underneath the stabilator at the tail, on the vertical fin on the rudder to make the flight controls work at even slower speeds. There's an angle of attack indicator inside there, so it helps me kind of fly the airplane right to the edge. We've got the fancy pants, wheel pants on there. You get this little logo that nobody ever sees, but I always got a kick out of that. Here's another modification that's a big deal on a Cherokee, but this is a stabilator gap seal. It's just a piece of 1-inch aluminum or whatever. It really helps the elevator forces quite a bit. So it helps on the STOL stuff. When I'm flying at 40 miles an hour trying to yank it off the ground, it helps. It's something you need. We put in the Aero LED lights. These are the 45-watt bulbs there. And on the nose, we've got the 75-watt bulb. And then on the other wingtip, we got another 45-watt bulb. And this thing looks like a 747 coming at you at nighttime, let me tell you. It really does a good job. You got the advanced steering wheels. Here's the pneumatic door seal. What got me into STOL flying was a buddy of mine here that lives at the Air Ranch. I think I might be the oldest one on the STOL circuit. I'm 71 years old. I have been flying for quite a few years, since I was 12 years old, with the help of my father back in the early days. I just love it. The 71 years has nothing to do with anything. Old guys, you can fly. Just come on out, get in your airplane, and come have a good time.